Secure your tinfoil hats, buckle down tight, and hold on loosely as we soar over the rocky tops of the La Platas on a rocky mountain high, get sucked into the vortex of the Four Corners, and settle down snugly at mile marker 420 in colorful Colorado. It is Saturday, January 2nd, Sunday, January 3rd, for those of you across the pond and beyond. Welcome to We Are Paradox Media's Late Night in the Rockies. I'm so glad you guys could join us this evening. I'm your host, TessaTNT, and I hope you guys had an awesome Christmas. My daughter, I heard her the other day answering the phone to her friend. She's like, Merry Crisis. And so that's kind of stuck with me. We made it through the crisis, and we're here for the new year, and hopefully, man, it'll go off without a hitch, and it's not, Mad Max of the Thunderdome and such. Because Mad Max was actually placed in the year 2021. But if you're listening right now, you're listening to us on Spreaker.com. You can also find us on Twitter, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, iTunes, iHeartRadio, CastBox, Tumblr, YouTube, SoundCloud, TuneIn Radio, Deezer, as well as Podcast Addict. Just recently, we've been picked up by KPNL Radio, which you can find at kpnl-db.com. So tonight, I have a treat for all my guys and gals out there tonight. Me and my girl, Mea Savage, we're going to be hanging out, talking about all kinds of random shenanigans. But Mea was born in the upside down world. Her tombstone might read something like, "Try me." Multiple generation psychic abilities stem from both sides of her family. Though she does not prefer the word medium, she's more than comfortable speaking to souls that have passed on. For almost 3 decades, she has made contact with otherworldly entities, both friendly and not quite so. Because of her array of experience, she has a very compassionate ear when it comes to the paranormal. Mea has both learned and grown with her mother, who is also a very gifted psychic. Her experiences range from human spirits to poltergeists to ETs. Her expertise is doubled when she and her mother, Kathy, are both involved. In addition to the paranormal, she also has a fine-tuned knowledge of astrology to help better understand her clients and their surrounding spirits. And I must also say, Mea, although she doesn't have this in her bio, is a very talented artist. Welcome, Mea, and thanks so much for coming onto the show tonight and hanging out with me.
Thank you. It was it's always an honor. I love it.
Yeah, I was like, girl, I was down all week with some kind of sickness. You want to come hang out on the airwaves?
You were down with the sickness? Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah, I was so down with the sickness. I was like, wah! And it got pretty bad.
That's terrible. I should not be making coronavirus jokes. I mean, I'm not saying you had it, but I mean, like, in general, being sick jokes, or I don't know, whatever. People need to quit being so sensitive. I think that dark humor gets us through so much. And if you can't tap into that, then you have to balance something within your chakras or your energy. If you can't handle dark humor, then let's just not be friends.
Yeah, I'd probably be better off if we weren't friends. If you're really sensitive. Not like psychically sensitive, because I can dig that, but when people get pissed off at me because of my humor and want to fight me, that's pretty ridiculous. Like,
well, you're a Sagittarius, so you're down. You know, Sagittarius are known for they're known for overdoing things, whether that's humor or just overdoing things in general. Sometimes, not always, but yeah, humor's a big one.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. It started Saturday night, and I've had it going on for a while. I had an ear infection in October, went to the doctor, got antibiotics, so on and so forth, but even after all that, I still had the stuff going on in my ears, and most recently I could feel the glands in my throat swelling, my throat thrilling, and different things like that. But yeah, it hit me really hard Saturday night. Slept all through Sunday, made it in here for the show for Sunday because we were supposed to have Jenna and Scott Paranormal Investigate, and had no internet going on. I don't know if somebody whacked something or what happened, but
mine's been flaky too, and we don't live that far from each other. I don't know what's going on, but I've been trying to download some files, upload, download, whatever, one of those. And for 3 freaking days, I paid $60 for these files. I need them. And it just says I have a bad internet connection. Like it cuts out in the middle. It can take us like an hour plus to download. It's crazy. I don't know. Could be snow, could be weather, could be wind. Who knows?
Solar flares. Those damn Allens. It's really hard to put your
UFOs.
finger on it, you know? Speaking of which, New Year's Eve, I go out to smoke on the front porch, and my daughter and her guy friend are out there, and they're smoking too, and I'm like, oh my god, what is that over there? And it was in the same area that Lily and I saw it, and Nova and her friends saw it, because they were actually in the neighborhood that this bright, silver, brilliant colored light in the sky was. But this time it was like a reddish orange color. And at first, you know, I was like, wow, check out Mars. Like, it's really going off. And then I was looking at where it was placed in the sky, how close it appeared to me, and it kept flaring. And when I say flaring, like this brilliant, bright orange and red light kept flashing off of it. And so I'm looking for, you know, a little bit of green or blue or something going on in there to tell me it's an airplane, because we get a lot of those. But I'm not seeing that, and it's not moving. And I'm like, Kinsey, do you see that? So both her and her guy friend are looking, as well as I. And, you know, it keeps doing the flare thing, and it started to move up slowly. And it'd flare again and then go dim, flare again, and then all of a sudden it just disappeared.
Was this over to the never eat soggy waffles? Was this over to the east?
Yeah.
See, because I have seen something twice out here to the east. One time there was two things that were not planes, and they were kind of not flashing, but okay, I have no idea how to describe this. It was like a flash, but it was just bright and dim and bright and dim, kind of like vibrating is not the word. There has to be some sort of word for this. But you know, when you have a light that has a dimmer on it, and it kind of, you can push the button up and down, that's what it was doing. There's two of them. And I know there's an airport by me, but these were not planes. They were orange as well. That was the other weird part, because planes, they have landing lights, right? And they flicker on and off, right? And usually white. Usually like bright white. These were like orange, and I thought it was very strange. It's just strange. It was to the east as well.
Yeah, and that's where the other one was. It was basically in the same neighborhood as the last sighting we had, which I believe was in early or mid-summer of this year. And I go outside with Lily, and I'm smoking and checking out my plants and stuff. And she's like, "Look, Mom, a UFO!" And I'm like, "Where?" And I'm looking, and you know, I lost my glasses the night I went to party due to my niece's trial, her murder trial, and the guy being convicted. So we went out and partied, and I ended up losing my glasses that night. So I'm squinting, and I'm trying to see, and I see, you know, one bright, brilliant light. She said she saw multiples, but what Nova said she saw right over her when she saw this was one light going in a triangle formation really quickly, and then stopping, and then going the opposite way in a triangle formation, stopping, and doing the, where they, you know, glow or flare is what I call it. They flare out, and it flared out, and then all of a sudden, she said, at a speed that is unhuman, shut off. From my perspective, I see this really bright glimmering light, and then at times it seemed like there was multiple, but it was just one, and my stigmatism acting up or whatnot. But it was pretty awesome that we had that shared experience, even though we were about a mile or less apart. She was blocks away over in Fox Farm, and you know where I live. Do you know where Fox Farm or Foxfire Farm is?
I've heard of it. I'm not exactly sure, but I only know landmarks around here.
Yeah, as the crow flies, it would probably be about, you know, 6 to 5 blocks away. And if you walk, you know, on the road, because you can't really shortcut across the neighbor's horse field, it's about a mile to walk over there. But it was pretty interesting, and it was cool that Kinsey and her boyfriend saw it. And then I go out again to smoke, and I'm looking around at the same area that it was, and it's over more towards Mustang Drive and Clover. And it's going off again, and I'm like, hey, it's here again. And so Floyd and Lily come out and they see it and run back in because it's really freaking cold. And then it does the whole flare thing and going dim and staying dim for a while, and then flare, going dim, and then just zapped out again, like where you can't see it at all.
Same exact thing, because it like you said, it kind of just zapped out. I think I saw two of them. There may have been three, and the other one was just further away because there was something there. But the two, it was like an orangish yellow light, and it would just flare and then dim and then flare and then dim. It was just very, very strange. And I even stopped and tried to take a picture of it. If I can find it, it's somewhere. But you know how it is with your phone. Trying to take a picture of the moon with your phone even is so difficult to get the full effect unless you have a camera. Even a digital camera sometimes works well.
Yeah, I got a new lens for my Nikon I think it's a D7000. But I got a new lens for it. Now I can't find the body. I'm like, holy shit. And I was wishing for that last night for the moon and for the UFO thing, especially because I've gotten so many good UFO pictures with that camera. Because it always had a really good lens on it. But yeah, with your cell phone, I actually got some pretty cool looking pictures of the moon last night at different angles. But otherwise, like you said, it's not as pretty as it is to the eye.
How did that full moon treat you emotionally? Because it screwed with me. It was okay. So we had a full moon in Cancer around New Year's, the day before or something. And it was in Cancer, which is its home ruler. Cancer is ruled by the moon. And Cancer is, I don't know, very emotionally up and down, up and down, up and down. But it affects everyone in their charts differently. So I'm curious how it affected you and your family.
Well, for me, like I said, I was dead to the world until about Thursday. Man, I didn't eat for 3 days. I slept forever. Every time I woke up, I drank water. I really didn't make a lot of head calls. I didn't go to the bathroom a lot. I was mostly just sleeping and trying to get through whatever the hell this was. And it's weird, like, I don't know, I felt hungry, like I needed to eat something, but nothing sounded good. And even smelling it, like it wasn't until, I think it was Wednesday, Nova made some burritos, and I had one of those. That was the first thing I ate since Saturday afternoon. So that would have been Tuesday, I think, that she made that. And then after that, it was soup and ramen noodles, panda ramen noodles. If you haven't had those, they're amazing. And they're actually in paper cups instead of the styrofoam, so you can actually microwave them and not worry about, cooking it and whatnot. But yeah, I kind of slept through it and didn't have a lot to do with it. I was really sad that, because I wanted to go do some paranormal investigating or some randonauticing or something so we could get some more stuff on our channel. But yeah, my health just was not up to par. But I survived.
If you can make it to Arizona within the next 3.5, I'm not going to be gone long this year. I'm going to be back in April. So, I mean, something like that. I don't even know where we're going in the first place, other than my boyfriend's boyfriend wants us to go to Mexico for a few days because he's lonely. I call him his boyfriend because he just idolizes them or whatever. And so I said we would go to Mexico for a few days, and we're kind of renting his house for free. So we actually have a pretty good deal.
Hell yeah.
We really don't have to go back to Arizona, but I feel like out of respect for him, we should, and, friends and weather and whatever. But honestly, I would stay here. We made it through most of it anyway. The cold weather, it's not a big deal. But if you can make it out there, there's probably actually, what I would really like to do is go to Bisbee. And I think you and I going on a ghost hunt in Bisbee, because I have a room that we can request too, like at this hotel. It's the Julia Lowell room, I think it's called. I know what the hotel looks like. I can't remember the name though, but I saw a figure and she shut the door on me. And apparently it was a woman who committed suicide there a long time ago, back in the Western days, I think. the Wild Wild West days, I should say. It's a very old hotel, but there's a cemetery there. There's underground tunnels. The craziest hotel, which is not the one that I stayed at, actually used to be either a hospital or a mental hospital, maybe. And this place, my mother and I walked by it, and this was when she was kind of realizing that I was picking up on things too. We walked by that place, and I having no knowledge. And back then I was goth. I was like, bring me the spirits. But that place freaked me out. I saw a figure, and this was like the sun wasn't even down. And I've always wanted to go back and do like an actual investigation there. I think that would be awesome.
That would be a badassery. Do you have any more to say about that real quick? Because Nova just came in and I have to give her something. Continue. But
Sure.
I know that Jamie went there and she did some video of this green colored orb that was flying around. And she was sitting there talking to it and all excited. But I believe she was in Bisbee. Is that where the bird cage is or something like that?
That sounds familiar. I'm not sure. Like I said, I actually only went and stayed there. I've been through there, but I only stayed there one time for a couple of days. And apparently the Julia Lowell room, Lowell, Lowell, room is the most haunted, and it had the whole story and whatever. And I think it had like her little bio in the little thing, and we weren't going there for a ghost hunt. We were just going there to take a day trip or just get out of town for a couple of days. And I was not expecting this, but there's an old dresser. I'm not sure if it's still there. There was an old dresser in there and I was like brushing my hair or doing something in the mirror, and the bathroom door slammed behind me. And there's no vent. Like, there's the dresser and a closed window, and the bathroom door just. I thought I saw something in my peripheral too in the mirror, and it just slammed. And I mean, I should have known there was something wrong with me when it didn't freak me out. I started talking to her and trying to communicate, but at that time, probably I was 13, 14 years old, so I didn't really know some of the things that I do now. Like the whole claircognizance thing is all about visions, and that's the easiest way for me to see them, right? But I didn't visions and downloads, pictures, whatever. But I wasn't tuned into that yet, so my curiosity just got the best of me. I just kind of walked around the hotel.
I don't know if anybody else is hearing it, but it sounds like your audio is really freaking out.
I actually saw a ghost, a couple of ghosts there. Wi-Fi connection. Let me pull my.
You sound better now. That was weird.
Let me pull my earbuds out. Weird.
Yeah, as
right
soon as you said it might be my Wi-Fi connection, it cleared up. So might not be the
I've had
earbuds.
all of these random things flying around my house. Like I've seen them all day, and I haven't bothered to talk to them. But like I don't really see stuff in that way, if that makes sense. Like I don't see things with my eyes. When I communicate with something, it's usually like through like images, not actually seeing. So it's very strange, but I've seen a lot of things the last day or two that are just passing through, and I'm not sure what it's about. I'm not sure if it's guides or just randos, who knows, but it's been weird. That could be our Wi-Fi problem, to be honest.
Right, and now that you said that, it just reminded me of something that Kinsey told me last night. She's like, Mom, it was so weird the other night. when you're in your room and you were sleeping, you were all sick and stuff. She said, I swear to God, I saw your doppelganger outside messing with the wood pile. And I was like, what? And she's like, yeah, you were just over there by the wood pile, kind of looking at and messing with the wood. And we just have right now a big, I would call it brush pile. It's like an oak wood pile, just sitting in our yard, and we'll slowly pull it up on the porch and cut it. You know, it'd be nice to go through it all and then have it cut, so you just have to carry it in every day. But we'll carry it up and cut it. But that was just weird. And it's not the first time that there's been a doppelganger of me seen around here, but Nova's had one. Who else here has had a doppelganger? I think that's it. Me and Nova so far have had doppelgangers. And the women and even some of the men in our family, and I think it comes from my mother's side of the family, could also be my dad's, because he was Irish. My mom was Cherokee and German, but are very gifted and psychic in some way. Like, every time I watch things, I learn more about my abilities and what I'm considered, and they call it a physical psychic, I guess, where you can see and hear and talk to the dead, or a physical medium. I'm not sure what the hell it's called. I try not to advertise that, but I think that has a lot to do with why we have doppelgangers. I don't know. What is a really good reason to have a doppelganger, unless it's doing your dishes and your chores for you? I really don't see the purpose.
Right. It also, it kind of like a little light went off when you said you were sleeping. It could also be possible that that was your astral body and that she just saw it, because I think we astral travel and don't remember quite often.
Mm-hmm.
And so like when I said, when Ross is talking in his sleep and he's doing farming work, his astral body might actually be there out there thinking that he's working. So it's possible that that was just your celestial kind of astral self that she saw as well.
Yeah, and I was kind of wondering about that because, you know, I have so much on my shoulders as far as things that I do around the house. And when I'm sick, even though I need to sleep, I really feel guilty about it. So maybe subconsciously I'm like out there randomly doing things that I need to be doing. But I don't know. I had thought about that too. Like, that could have been me astral traveling. Like, things got so crazy. And I don't know if I mentioned this on air. I think it was while we're getting ready to go on air. But my husband for Christmas made me, I think it's the first thing he ever made me, was this necklace made of quartz, just regular white quartz. And it's got basically quartz shards all around it. In the middle looks like a crystal skull. And I got so hot, I believe it was Wednesday or Thursday, I got so hot that my necklace felt like it was burning me. And so I took it off, and I had told her this, and she's like, Mom, what if you had some sort of attachment or something? And I'm like, I really didn't think about it, or didn't want to think about it. I think there was a little click in my mind, like, it could be something like that. But I think I just had a temperature, and it was radiating the heat coming off my body back to me. So that's why I noticed it and why it was bugging me. But there were so many weird things that did happen while I was down. But it was pretty interesting and intriguing. Two of my key words.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it could have been. I think I've had a similar experience. I think they do like absorb your heat, but it also could be energy too. It could have, I think like our physical bodies are, you know, kind of connected. Like people who have negative attachments for years and don't recognize it, don't cleanse, and don't see that they're there. There's a million people who have those. I'll tell this story later, but there was a guy that came over that I did a reading on a year ago, and I don't do a lot of readings. I kind of just do them for friends of friends, that type of deal, because they're just draining as hell. But but or you know, like on the show, it's okay. But I mean, like I don't advertise it because I don't think I can handle more than a few good, you know, close friends, clients at a time. Um, but he was talking about how he had an attachment since birth, and I had maybe mentioned it in the reading, and he figured out a way to get rid of it, and he came back. I'll just tell the story because I'm already doing it. um, he came back a year later, and he brought me champagne and flowers, and he had lost 70 pounds. He started doing cards himself, and started getting into crystals and cleansing and stuff. And I'm like, that is the most rewarding thing I've ever seen in my entire life. Like, he just randomly stopped by because he's like a friend of another guy that lives on our property. He's like a cousin of his or something. And I did a reading on him last summer, and not this last summer, but the summer before. And it was just crazy. Like, and he started talking about how he had an attachment since childhood and he never like recognized it. And I think a lot of people, if you don't open up spiritually, you don't know they're there, you know? And then once you do start to open up spiritually, you start to see them and it freaks you out. Like, initially it freaks you out. And then it just takes time for you to not be freaked out anymore and figure out ways to get rid of it, or, you know, manage it. We'll say that. I don't know if you can fully always get rid of certain things, but yeah. So I feel like maybe that was like your physical body. When your physical body is down, anything that has attached to you sometimes will try to come back in, if that makes sense. It's weird.
Those dirty bastards.
You know, kick them while they're down, right?
Right? That's not fair. Well, since you were talking about Bisbee, I decided to look up the most haunted places in Arizona. And it says haunted places in northern Arizona are Jerome, Prescott, Bisbee. Then there's Douglas and Tucson. And I think that's it. But I'm going to go back to Bisbee really quick. And it says, Halloween is one roving street party in eccentric artisty Bisbee. Throw on a costume and you'll fit right into the southern Arizona town, once a copper mining center. If you want something a tad more organized, join one of the old Bisbee ghost tours, including a walking tour of haunted spots, a ghost hunt, and a haunted pub crawl, during which spirits are guaranteed. And my brother was telling me that I should do something like this as far as a pub crawl, instead of doing just the general, ghost tour. But there's so much liability, I think, doing that, going to different bars and, this is the house's main drink or whatever, and having them have a drink or whatever, or two, per place, and going through these places and talking about different hauntings. I think that opens them up to having some sort of attachment or some sort of negative stuff happening. But it says, after all the walking, spend the night at a Bisbee haunted hotel, such as the circa 1902 Copper Queen Hotel. Guests and ghost hunters often try to prowl the upper floors in search of hotel's resident spirits. That's all. You're back.
I'm sorry, but a haunted pub crawl.
Yeah. Go on a haunted pub crawl. You could come home haunted. But it says a tall Cape gentleman and an ethereal dancing woman and a young giggling boy. Daytime delight, Main Street in Old Bisbee is peppered with charming stores and boutiques, perfect for art collecting and thrift shopping, which I love thrift store shopping. But, I think every old town, especially mining towns, have so many different hauntings and different things going on, especially attachments. The mining towns, drinking or hitting, brothels and different things like that. Like, there's all kinds of different stuff going on.
Yeah, definitely. But I was just cracking up because it says haunted pub crawl, ghosts guaranteed or something like that, spirits guaranteed. Well, spirits, it's a play on words, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But that's 100% true. But that's 100% true. Like, I would not want to be just super drunk or anything like, and dealing with anything to do with hauntings, Like, I don't know. Like, even one beer is taking your chance sometimes in certain places.
It's insane, and that's what I was saying.
I made that mistake once.
I think when we got disconnected, I was saying, my brother told me, because he lives in Savannah, Georgia, and it's way haunted down there. He's like, sister, this is totally a cool idea. You should do this. And I'm like, I am not going to be liable for people getting hurt or having attachments or whatever else, because they're getting drunk and doing ghost hunting. It is a huge liability. And when we do anything as far as tours or whatnot, when we used to do the world's largest ghost hunt, we'd invite people in from the outside and allow them to come. And one of my really good Facebook friends, I think we're not Facebook friends anymore, but she showed up 3 sheets to the wind. And we even asked people, have you had anything to drink? If so, can you sign this waiver? Blah, blah, blah. And she claimed she had not been drinking, but you could smell it coming off of her. And that's not only a liability to her, but everybody else, including us.
Absolutely. 100%. I, on the other hand, like I have been in a lot of like bars where there were residential ghosts. I had an ex-boyfriend who was a partial owner of a bar, and I was in there all the time. Not to get drunk, but because he was literally there all the time, and bar hours are like from like 3 p.m. to like 3 a.m. And I would obviously had a day job, but on the weekends, I'd be there all night. I would drink a little bit sometimes, but there's the amount of activity. That's when I started to really realize I was in contact with, these ghosts all the time. One of them was one of the owners of the bar that had died. And I knew there was something wrong because I looked over at the table and he knocked the glass over and he smiled at me. But this is after he's passed away. And that's when I was like, okay, why did I just see him smile? And why did he just say that? I've heard him like whisper in my ear and stuff. And I'm like, okay, that's crazy. But he used to own that bar, mind you. Like, this is not, and if I was drinking in there, he was someone I knew personally, is what I mean. So if I was drinking in there and I did see him after I had been drinking, which had happened, I don't know how many times, that was different. But I can only imagine going into a place with spirits that you don't know. You don't know who's in there. And those spirits that have died, even if they were, or I don't want to say put people into categories and say good or bad, but even if they were decent human beings, they were probably plagued by alcoholism or the spirits, the attachments, the spirits of the spirits to the spirits. And we've had that conversation before about spirits and what it means, what the natives believed and everything. And I believe that's true. I think the natives definitely have something right, and as far as that goes, and it being spirits and opening you up to like there's got to be like a native alcohol god. If not a god is the wrong word, but you know what I mean? Like an entity that comes in, and they're not good. They don't have a good feeling to them. Even ghosts that were alcoholics that pass away, they don't always have the best feeling to them.
No, and they can cause issues. I've seen experiences and had experiences, so on and so forth, in the past with certain things like that. And even if you have a favorite place you go, like you said, there are ghosts out there, including old bar owners or old patrons to these certain places, that will come back and they can't partake of things like they used to, even if you set out a shot or whatever, a little offering for them. Like, they can get the essence of it, but they really don't get that feeling. And that's where I think walk-ins happen. And it's kind of like a possession, but it's more temporary. It's a walk-in, so they can walk into your body once you're inebriated to a certain point, and then go from there with what they may have done in the past as far as drinks they would drink, songs they would listen to, things they would do. And then it's not always a bad thing. It's just them wanting to experience what they really enjoyed in the past. Whether or not it's good for them really doesn't matter, but they really miss that because they cannot partake of these certain things. So it's pretty interesting. I think somebody should do some sort of study on that.
Let's do it.
Right?
Somebody won't. We're gonna have to do it ourselves. No, I think like people in the paranormal community will do that, but I'm just like a strong believer in general for drinking because my father was an alcoholic. Luckily, I'm not. I'm very fortunate to be able to not drink for months at a time. I've never craved a drink. And my rule for drinking, not that I need one, but just in general, I don't like to drink if I'm feeling down. Like, it never helps me feel better. Like, even I had a roommate one time, and we would clean and drink these big giant German beers, and they were delicious. But if, she was a Cancer, and she was always able to, she would be like, screw it, I'm not feeling good, let's just have a drink. And whenever I wasn't feeling good and I had a drink, it's like all of the negative side effects of being an empath or whatever it is, would come out, if I drink it. But like, I try to do it only when my energy is up and not when your energy is down, because it never solves anything. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Well, and I agree, like, if you're in a certain mindset and you drink and you've been dwelling on these certain thoughts, then you get into, really dwelling on those and going into repetitive mode where you're annoying everybody because you're repeating the same thing over and over again, and kind of stuck in this certain tide pool is what you call it. Spiritual tide
Perfect
pool.
analogy.
And you're just kind of sucked in there, and it's not a good thing. So I do agree with that rule. That's a good rule to have. Too many spirits.
Too many spirits. I mean, like, okay, there are times where it's like I'm going to Vegas and I'm on a mission. And what I realized being in Vegas is that they water down all their drinks. So I can drink 12 drinks in Vegas, right? Because they're watered down. When normally
Cheap bastards.
my limit is 2. Yeah. No, they are. But what I didn't realize when I was in Vegas once is I was ordering wine, which is pretty much all I would drink anyway at home, occasionally beer, but wine, sambuca, or beer on occasion, depending on the time of year or my mood or whatever. I haven't even had wine in forever. But anyway, so when I would only drink wine, that's what I would order in Vegas, just red wine. They do not water down the wine. So I didn't realize that until later. $500. I made a wonderful decision at the blackjack table at 4 a.m. with $500. But I won. So that's,
yay!
I made a very stupid decision that I know I got very lucky. But that was when I realized that I was just totally inebriated to the point where I was just yelling at people, like, including the dealer. He should have cut me off then, but $500, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I may have put a $500 chip because I had won it. It was not money that I brought. It was like money that I had won. And I was on a mission. Sometimes you just get on a mission, maybe once or twice a year, where you're going to get drunk, right? I mean, I don't know. I'm not talking about everyone, but I mean, like, but Vegas is my mission. Sometimes I'm like, I'm going to do this. But if you're in Vegas and you want to be gambling for a long time, or you're going to be there a couple of days, don't order wine, because number one, it's cheap, and number two, it's not watered down. So 13 drinks is probably about 3. And yeah, just a little advice. I learned that the hard way.
Well, I don't know. I think there are certain places that do water down their drinks, and I haven't had a cool drinking experience in Vegas because I believe I was breastfeeding at the time, so I didn't drink while I was there. But I did enjoy the sights and the craziness. But, and a freaking haunting in the room next door. It was insane. But my mom went to go celebrate with her girlfriends or whatever, and they would get, the strip drinks where they're in these cool little cups and you can walk around all over the place with them, and yeah.
Oh, the big, long, tiki-looking ones?
Oh, yeah.
The green ones? Yeah.
She won't do that again.
Right? I had one of those. No, I've had 2 of those before. Actually, the guy was really cool, and we got a free one, so I went back. Man, those things are hardcore. Like, hardcore. Like, I think, like, if you do go to Vegas, like me, a person that doesn't drink a lot, I do like to pregame like a week or 2 before Vegas, just to get my tolerance up. And they say that you don't actually get a tolerance, but I call bull, because if I don't drink for 4 months and I have 1 glass of wine, I'm tipsy, right? But so I feel like before you go, if you're going to be on that mission, you got to like boot camp yourself and have like 2 drinks a night for like a week, and then you can hold your own a little bit better there in Vegas. But I don't know.
It's funny what you were saying about being on a mission. like if you're on a mission before you start, you kind of continue on that mission because you have that mindset and it is in the forefront and you're subconscious. You know, you got this mission going on. You come together as a group. One time that this happened to me, I was learning to play poker online because I was bartending at the casino, and the guys would come in between rounds or whatnot and be like, man, I just lost on a flat tire, or use these different terms. And I was like, oh man, that's harsh. Like, what do you want to drink? I wouldn't know what exactly they're talking about, so I couldn't carry on a good conversation about it. So I go online and school myself, and I get really good at poker. And then my husband's like, hey, a friend of mine is doing a poker game. Would you like to do that? And I'm like, hell yes. Like, for my birthday for at least 8 years now, I've wanted to go and play poker for my birthday at the casino. Haven't got to do it yet.
I'll go with you.
It'd be awesome. So I go to this game. These guys have a full open bar, but that's only for drinks. There's no food to be had, and they're out in the middle of nowhere. And so I have some drinks, blah, 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 and you know, smoke some greens, yada, yada. And it comes to a point where Tess is checked out and whoever else is there. And then when I come back to, I have this big-ass pile of chips in front of me. And it's the very last hand. And I'm like, I'm going to go all in. So I start to move my chips, and they're like, you don't have to do that. And I'm like, but I want to. But anyways, I ended up winning. And it wasn't a lot of money, but it was awesome. I had that mission in mind before I started. And then in the end, I come to, and I actually got to experience what had happened. It was awesome. And that was my very first and last live game for money. But it was awesome. Awesome experience.
That is what happens to me almost every time I go to Vegas. And I always start winning at like 3 or 4 in the morning. I think the most money I've ever lost in Vegas was like $400. The most I've ever lost, which is not bad, really, considering. And for some reason, when I want to go, I always win. But it's always after I'd been drinking for a long time. And it's always towards the end of the night, early morning stages. And all of a sudden, I don't know what it is. Something takes over that's lucky. Just only in Vegas though. Like I'm not like I'll gamble for fun every now and then, just like blackjack or whatever, because it's fun. I just recently got into that not too long ago, and I think me and Ross make a really good team at the blackjack table. I don't know what it is. We both were able to. The best part is when you're gambling with someone else. It's like if someone wins and someone loses, then you break even. You know what I'm saying? And if you both win, then you both win. But chances are you're probably not both going to lose. If you do, it's not going to be a lot, you know, because someone can pull you away or whatever. I don't know. I like it. It's fun.
Mooney's got a burn here in the chat room. He said they only water down your drinks if you're on the nickel slots.
Well, no, this is at the blackjack table. I'll call it out. It's at the MGM. I had no idea, and I swear they do. They do.
Ooh.
But I'm not usually at the high dollar black, you know, because I want to play for a while. I have more fun playing than I do like actually winning. Like I would do it for pennies. I think part of it is when I'm in the zone, it sounds like cheating, but it's not. I'm not like the mentalist or anything, but I sometimes see the cards right before they hit, and I'll call it out. And I learned a trick about hyping up the table and bringing their energy all up. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. If people are just bitter around you, then it doesn't work. But if you get the right table and you bring their energy up, then we will all start winning for like an hour. So that's the key. Like you have to bring up everybody's energy, and you have to call out the cards before they hit them. And then if you get them right, then the table's on your side, and they're going to be like, okay, cool. Like let's roll with this, right? And they get excited, right? Because I'm like, okay, he has an ace, right? And I'll just call it out. And then he has an ace, or I'll say, I'm getting blackjack right now. And then I get blackjack, you know, and then people are like, whoa, how'd you do that? And I'm like, I don't know. I can't do it all the time. I don't think I'm allowed to, but it does happen sometimes. So I think that's why I like it, because I don't know. There's something. I think if you're an intuitive, I heard this from a psychic just recently. If you are, I'm sorry, not intuitive. If you are like, well, same thing, an empath, then you are a psychic. Like it's just a matter of just different abilities, different chakras, different, things that you use. I believe that an empath and a psychic are ultimately the same thing, if that makes sense.
If you're gifted, you're gifted, okay?
Yes. If you're open to it, then you're gifted.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's a big part. And I've told this story before, so don't ho-hum if you've heard it already. But I had this girl come to me through Four Corners Paranormal Investigations, and she's like, I really love all the stories and different posts you share, and I've always wanted to see a ghost, but I've never experienced it. And I'd really love to. Do you have any pointers? And the number one thing I said, you have to be open-minded and be aware that maybe you have seen a ghost, but you pass them by on the street and you don't take a second glance. You just think there's a person walking towards you and past you. You never look behind really to see if they're still there. They could seem just as real as you and me, but really they're on the other side. And so I think it was about 3 months later, she got back a hold of me. She dropped her daughter off in Gym Village for work, and I can't remember the name of this place. I would do a plug, but I can't remember. But she was pulling in one day, and she sees this old lady wearing like a moo-moo sort of robe gown thing in the backyard playing with the kids and looking over them while she's in the house and she's making lunch for the kiddos. And she goes in there and she's like, wow, it's really cool that you got help with all the kids and somebody to kind of hang out with and talk to instead of just being stuck with kids all day. And she's like, what are you talking about? I'm the only one here. And she's like, I don't know if it's your grandma or whoever in the backyard with the kids. And she's like, no, I'm the only one here. And she explained what she looked like. And the lady pulled out a picture and said, is this who you saw? And she's like, yeah, that's who I saw. And she's like, that's my grandma. And she passed away about 3 weeks ago. So she's like, I just had to tell you that I finally had my first experience. And it just, it's up to you. And how closed-minded or open-minded do you want to be? You could be as closed-minded as you were taught through life, or you could start to open up, and it could happen quickly, could happen slowly. Like, it's just a matter of faith and belief and having that sort of relaxation of the closed-mindedness.
Well, 100%. And I think, speaking from personal experience, like, I mean, this year was very hard for everyone. So I'm not saying that mine was harder than anybody else's, but I mean, I think I was going through like a kind of an awakening, and also I had a broken leg for 6 months, and then the coronavirus is going on and everything else that's going on, and then having to move as well. So I've been shut down. You can turn it off as well. You can turn it on and you can turn it off. And I think there are some mediums who will say that they can't, but I don't think that that's the truth at all. In fact, I would almost bet that with people who are strictly mediums, that they're lying. They can shut it off, because no one would be able to handle being 100% completely on. I mean, we would just like spontaneously combust if we knew what was going on around us at all times in every dimension. Like, it just doesn't, you know what I'm saying? Like, so
yeah, your head would explode.
It would. I think it would literally just blow up. Like, you would just blow up into smithereens, into a giant, supernova or something. But yeah, so I think that even though a lot of popular, like the Long Island medium and stuff, she's like, I can't turn it off. I think you can.
Yeah, you put your rules out there. Hey, I'm going to bed now. You need to leave me alone so I can sleep. Set up your boundaries.
Yes, exactly. I think it's more difficult for people who just are mediums, because like for me, a lot of times if I have someone bother me, it's because they want to talk to me, right? Really bad. So I think maybe it may be more difficult for like a well-known medium, because probably a lot of spirits want to talk to them, if that makes sense. Because they could see, they're like, look at her, she's talking to everybody. I got her address. Let's all go. Come on, let's have a party. So I mean, maybe that's what they mean, but like you can shut down different parts of you depending on, your. I'll block it out. I put big buffers on
I think it's
all the time.
psychically having a closed and open sign.
Exactly, like a neon
Sorry.
sign, like okay, I'm open to this, right? And especially if I'm around different people, because different people bring different spirits and guides and stuff with them. And if the vibe of their spirits and guides is good, I can be full blown open, right? But it's not usually like just walking somewhere. And if it is, I sometimes ignore it. I mean, what are you gonna do? Go up to a stranger? Be like, hey, your grandma tapped me on the shoulder. No, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to be like that. I'm not going to be that person.
She said,
Though
quit
it has
doing that. You're going
happened.
to go blind.
Yeah. I'm like, okay, hi, strange person. Your grandma just said you need to quit doing that because you're going to go blind. And then what? What?
But I find it funny because, like, when I did used to go to the bar on the weekends or whatever, and I'd know certain people there, but not everybody because different people come out, same people come out every night, but then different people come out every night. And it was amazing to me how many different people that I did not know would come up to me and start talking to me and then spilling the beans on all their, secrets and things going on in their lives and people they've lost, so on and so forth. And, if something comes through at that point, I'll tell them. But like you said, somebody gives you a message and you haven't connected with this person, you don't want to just walk up to them and tell them, hey,
I just got the blind thing. Sorry.
What is that?
Well, you know what they say? If you do it too much, you'll go blind.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Okay. I was like, sorry.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what cornflakes were invented for. You know that?
No, I had no idea.
Kellogg's cornflakes were supposed to hinder masturbation. They were supposed to help relieve people from masturbating and stop them. Yeah.
I'd never heard this story before.
Mm-hmm.
When you said cornflakes, it reminded me of a joke that my husband told me about his ex-wife. And, of course, she's a beautiful blonde or whatever. And he said she came out crying. She's all frustrated because she'd been working for days on trying to do this puzzle and she couldn't get it. And there's parts missing, whatever. And so he goes in, to try to help her out. And she's got all these cornflakes laid out on the table trying to make the picture of the rooster. And it just wasn't working out for her. It was pretty sad.
Poor blondes, right? It's okay.
Sorry.
I'm a blonde, but
well, I feel sorry for my oldest daughter. Okay, so I was born blonde. I was born a towhead, and then all my hair fell out, and then it grew back dark. So I think my system just rejected being blonde. But
lucky.
My sister unfortunately didn't get that same gene. But my daughter Kenzie, she's got dark hair like me, but she's the blondest chick I know. And it's like stupid to say that term, but there's terms for things, and they're not necessarily true because you're not like that, and you're blonde. Were you born blonde?
I do have ADD. Yeah, I do have ADD though, so sometimes I appear blonde-ish, especially like, unfortunately, I have some bad habits. Like I'll interrupt people, but it's just because I'm just super excited, and if I don't get it out, I'll forget. Yeah, and that's like an ADD thing that we do. Like, and it's I try my best. Yeah.
I'll try to make a mental note and not interrupt, but I can't help it. Like, if I don't say it right now, it's going to be gone. I can feel it slipping away.
Exactly. And I just want to relate, that's what it's all about. It's like I'm so into this conversation. Yeah, exactly. And some people get really annoyed too. And so like, there's certain people like Ross's brother and my future brother and sister-in-law, whatever. Is that how it goes? Yeah. They just had this peeve with that for some reason. And I'm like, okay, so you guys are OCD and I'm going to have to remember that. So I'm just going to have to be silent. But they are hardcore drinkers and I don't know what it is when we hang out with them. Because they're just buying bottles of wine and this and that. And I just get sucked in. And then I just interrupt everything, of course. It's just the way it goes.
Well, it's all their damn fault for bringing all that wine. But on that note, we are going to go to our first musical break. Before we go there, Going back to the casino thing, Gnome Drew posted on his 21st birthday at New York, New York, he spent $200 on quarters and won a quarter jackpot at 2,500 smackaroos.
Ooh.
Very nice. But on this
That's
musical
awesome.
break, we have King Cinnamon from Biafra, Nigeria, with Ale Imo Ederela. Then we have Hosni Bronx, who is originally from Jamaica, but also hails from the Bronx of New York with Dance as a Lion. And then King Cinnamon, again, with fantastic, yes, Robert White, I'm very sorry. We are doing reggae tonight. You guys, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this musical break.
We swap on the beat.
Kanyi kele Chineke makwa n'ala Imo bụ ndị njem ọnụ. Kanyi kele onye nwụwa ịmakwa n'ala Imo bụ ndị njem ọnụ. Imo, Alime Kerelo, Alimo, Alime Kerelo, Alimo State, Alime Kerelo, Alimo, Alime Kerelo, Alimo State, Alime Kerelo, Alimo, Alime Kerelo. Democracy Kerelo. Ndime Meriela, Alimo, Alime Kerelo, Alimo, Alime Kerelo, Alimo State, Alime Kerelo, Alimo, Alime Kerelo. Democracy Meriela, Ndime Meriela, Alimo, making head ya. Ebere marama, Opa no marama, yes lady marama, Her Excellency, Emeka Edio Hamma, Emeka Edio Hamma, Omenka Unanya Nidio Hamma, Omenka Unanya wa, Emeka make him body mouth, Emeka make him body mouth, Emeka put on no boy, oh yeah, Umu wa wulenu, Emeka put on no boy, welcome Adima, Umu we me wan posto, Emeka make him body mouth, Emeka make him body mouth, Ndem jejemba, Mwan jejemba, Ndem jemano, Deputy Governor Imo State Chilike, Gerard Ronna Karaka, Wokoma Dima, Porabo, Deputy Governor Wile Deregima, Alukuta Deregima, Alimo State Deregima, Ala Nigeria Maragima, Onye Jemano, Standing one with Chekaraka, Stanley Onye Babamba, President Good Life Foundation Shirike, President General, Senate Group of Companies, President General, Financial Master Karaka, Alo Were Diregima, Alambise Diregima, Alimo State Diregima, Ala Nigeria Maragima, Onye Jemano, Franklin Neji Shirike, Pepe Arabido Hotels, ABC Transport Karaka, Alo Were Diregima, Alambise Diregima, Alimo State Diregima, Ala Nigeria Maragima, Uchonya go chande, Honorable Wokoma Dima, Onye Horo Nyakeleni Yao, Mawugi, Ginando Tugio, Mawunule, Njijigari Jinala, Imo State Yo, Mawugi, Ginando Tugio, Mawunule, Minigari Zonala, Imo State Yo, Alo Were Diregima, Alo Were Diregima, Alimo State Diregima, Ala Nigeria Maragima, the German, Orange Trucks Limited, Jisa Anthony Ifani Chubuntu Bisesena Ishirike, Ikenga Dichele, pride of his people, most outstanding one, Okoma Marama, Iborabo, Alo Were Diregima, Alijato Diregima, Alimo State Diregima, Ala Nigeria Maragima, Honorable Jogwagu Shirike, Honorable Bina Shirike, Jere Labosa Shirike, Tochukwo Kereke Shirike, Okahu Be Shirike, Injina Benina Shirike, Onyamana Construction, Wokoma Dima Ikaraka, Onya Shiwore Heborani, Ejemu Imarama, Wokoma Jemba, Wokoma Dema Ikaraka, Wiz Popule, Ibo Felamo, Onyoma Napito, Akana Kumpa, Ikaraka, Eziwa Mama, Mr. Ludiriwa, Wokome Jemba, CEO Elizabeth Ventures, Ikaraka, Democracy Merielo, Ndime Merielo. Thank God I'm from Imo State. Emeka has come to rejuvenate. Imo State, make you jubilate, make you celebrate. Emeka Shikwen be say, this one no be say them say. Emeka has come to rejuvenate. Imo State, celebrate, make you jubilate. Ala mekele His Excellency Achikudenwa. Mekele kwa His Excellency Dr. Hakim. Yemaka Right Honorable BDK. Mekele kwa Right Honorable Jones Oyereri. Ala mekele Senator Onyebuchi Mr. Empowerment. Mekele kwa Right Honorable Emeka Chinedu. Umo mimo lowali bia meziena alimo. Alima Dilama.
Cliffito.
Why Babylon, you want
We swap on the beat.
She like my water bam bam. King cinnamon. Oh shit, baddest. Take your bam bam anywhere you day. Know your bam bam it is a Friday. Mama let's ball it is a holiday. Anything you want, baby I will pay. Take your bam bam anywhere you day. Know your bam bam it is a Friday. Mama let's ball it is a holiday. Anything you want, baby I will pay. Fantastic. Baby girl, you romantic. Fantastic. Baby girl, you romantic. Put your brother, baby, gather something. Come on closer, baby, gather 19. I know you better, but I am the king. Your backside bigger than Bombay. Baby girl, broncotum. I like the way you whine your broncotum. Baby girl, broncotum. I like the way you whine your broncotum. Jamaica, Ghana, shout out to the ladies in Asia, Nigeria, South Africa. Say me love you. Please me, baby. Yeah. Turn up from you. Take your bam bam anywhere you day. Know your bam bam it is a Friday. Come on, let's go, it is a holiday. Anything you want, baby, I will pay. Take your bam bam anywhere you day. Know your bam bam it is a Friday. Come on, let's go, it is a holiday. Anything you want, baby, I will pay. Fantastic. Baby girl, you romantic. Give me love. Me want you, me love you. Give me love. Oh, give me love. Hey, please me, baby. Oh. Yeah, turn up from you. Yeah, take your bam bam anywhere you day. Know your bam bam it is a Friday. Come on, let's ball it is a holiday. Anything you want, baby, I will pay. Shake your bam bam anywhere you day. Know your bam bam it is a Friday. Come on, let's ball it is a holiday. Anything you want, baby, I will pay. Fantastic. Baby girl, you romantic. Fantastic. Baby girl, you romantic.
We swap on the mix. Lift it all.
Welcome back, and thanks so much for joining us tonight on We Are Paradox Media's Late Night in the Rockies. Thanks so much for hanging out with us tonight. We have my friend and teammate Mea Savage on the air. Welcome back, Mea, and thanks so much for hanging out with us tonight.
Thank you. Such a pleasure.
I always have so much fun. Now we have more than one favorite time of the month. No.
Well, I was going to say, like, okay, but we're not in 2020 anymore. I was going to say this is how I party in 2020, but I guess we're now in 2021. Ugh. I think numerology-wise, 2021. See, 2021 in numerology would add up to 5. 4 and then 5, right? 2 and 2 and 1. And I feel like that's kind of a turbulent number. I'm not going to make any super predictions because I don't want to do anything like that. I don't want to be responsible for that.
Right.
We'll
not
just
saying
say what
this
I've
is
heard.
happening, but figuratively.
I feel like there might be some more protests coming this year. I do feel like that. And that was my intuition. And then my confirmation was seeing a few other like astrologers, numerologists, and psychic mediums or whatever, psychic predictions or predictors, kind of saying that there might be some more of that going on. But I don't feel that super intensity that I did before 2020. I think about 4 months before 2020, I was feeling this super anxiety, just really bad, like worse than I've had it in 10 years. And so I'm not feeling that. So that's a good sign, right? Because I just feel like there might be a little bit of that. I also did see that they just passed a bill for all of our money we'll have to have wallets, like virtual or digital wallets, all of us, so they can keep track of literally every dime we spend. I mean, and that bothers me.
Yeah.
Conspiracy theorists have called this out for a while, though, like that this was happening. But on the other hand, digital currency like Bitcoin, see, I have a little bit of money in Bitcoin, not a lot because I just didn't have a lot of faith in it, but I had this intuitive feeling. I'm going to end up being one of those stockbroker psychics. I just know it because I keep doing this and I'm like making money without really trying. I just get a weird little feeling. I'm like, okay, I think you should buy another $100 of Bitcoin just to see what happens, even though it hasn't done crap for months. Then I'm like, all right, I got $100 to spend. I put it in it. It's up to like 31 or 30, like the highest. It's 300% in 1 year. It's jumped.
Yeah, I wish I had 100 in there instead of 10, and even 13 in there instead of 10, because unless you have 12 or more dollars, they say you go against their, contract or their rules or whatnot. And
they changed that though.
The only reason that I only had that amount of money in there is because I spent so much on seeds, and then this is what I had left, and I never put any more in there because I totally, never read the thing when I go into it. But
I was down to like 6 in there. I was literally down to like 6.
Oh no, at least 12, I think it was. I could have made a lot of money when Bitcoin did that whole explosion thing. But could you imagine if you had 100 in there at the time?
Well, I did, and this is the weird thing. Like because I had like 100 in there at the very beginning just to see, because I was just starting doing stocks last year and stuff. We won't even talk about how much, like, trust me, I haven't invested a lot because I haven't had a lot to invest in stocks, but I always think of, shoot, if I had just gone with my gut and put, but my Tesla, oh my gosh, that was pretty much, I literally spent like this money that I got for something, I don't remember what it was, and I invested it all in Tesla, right? And like almost every dime that I had at that moment. And then it split 5 ways, and now I have a bunch of shares, and it went up like crazy now. And I think my total return for all of my investments combined is like more than quadrupled from just 1 year. And I'm like, this is insane, right? So I'm going to start using my psychic abilities for money. And if you have a problem with that,
well, as long as you're not hurting anybody or cheating in any way, as long as you're being honest and using your gifts, you're not abusing it.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
Yeah, testing it out a little, testing the waters.
Yeah.
Is this really working?
I mean,
is this mic on?
I don't think it's immoral. Yes, it is. I don't think it's immoral as long as you're not hurt, like you said. And ultimately, what I would like to do is do like some horse rescue type scenario, my retirement, maybe like an animal refuge or, of course, music studio. But it's like I don't think that's wrong, right? Because I'll need money over time to do that, obviously. And I don't know, my business isn't really doing much right now. Nobody's is because of the virus.
Motherfucking Rona.
Yep. Yes, ma'am. But yeah, I did the same thing with Bitcoin, and then I just randomly popped in my head. I'm like, okay, let's just do 100 in here. I was down to like $6 or $16 or like nothing, right? Because I pulled out after a while of it just doing nothing and just losing for, I don't know, a few months, beginning of 2020. And just randomly, like a couple months ago, like, okay, let's just put $100 in here, whatever. And I just looked at it today, and like, I don't even really watch it because you can go crazy watching it too much.
Yeah,
you
kind of get addicted.
Crap. Yeah. Or it just gives you anxiety. I wouldn't say like for me, it's not really getting addicted. It's just like I don't want to ruin my day because could be having a really good day, and then I check it and they're all down, and then I'm like, crap. But they could totally spike and go up in 2 days, like one day even. So yeah.
So Jojo the Slap Boy was saying in the chat room that the digital wallet is for the digital treasury coin, but even today we use kind of like a digital wallet. We got PayPal, we have Venmo, we have Facebook is now doing money transfers, Google Wallet. Now they have a new app. You have to update it. If you have an old one, get a new one. But I have so many different ones because my family is like, hey, well, give me this one through this app. And I'm not on there. Well, make a thing real quick and I'll send you some money. So for sure I do it. And man, the worst one I had so far was through Facebook. They're like, we have to check out this money being sent to you and we'll let you know when it's cleared. And then 3 days later, I think I got it. And it was Christmas money from my mom. But yeah, there's different digital wallets going on. But like when you said that, I'm imagining a wallet that's digital. Every time you use your card and you put it back in, it reads what you did or any sort of money or change or whatnot that you put in there. But what's to keep you from using your pockets?
Exactly. And the conspiracy theorists surrounding this being a step in that direction is that the breakdown of the Federal Reserve and the value of the dollar is soon to change. I mean, it changes all the time, but may at some point be actually eliminated. And I don't know if it's going to be for better or worse, but that's what the conspiracy theorists have been saying. And so far, there are things that have happened since I first started hearing that have correlated a little bit. So I don't know. I don't know what the end goal is. I don't see, if that's positive or negative, but.
Well, I know, and I think it was shortly before or shortly after Corona or the COVID broke out, they in New York and other places were trying to go, I think it was during COVID, because they're trying to go cashless because you're touching the money, it's in your pocket, depending on who you are, it could get soiled in different ways, and so they didn't want to deal with it. So they're like, we're going to go all digital unless you have a bank card or whatever. You can't buy anything here, and it was working out okay, except for the fact that homeless people couldn't use it. Like, how are they supposed to go digital?
I know.
Really,
that's so sad. I hope that does not happen, or that there is some way to prevent that from happening. Like, if we become a socialistic country, then all of those homeless people should at least have cell phones. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Well, yeah, and
like,
with Obama, they kind of did
that.
They had the Obama phone is what they called it, and it was a cell phone at work, just like anything else. But like for my buddy Brian, he had a little old school flip phone that you can, play the old digitized games and stuff on and do random things, but nothing like phones today.
Like
I'm
Snake?
Sure. Yeah.
You remember Snake?
My kids love that game.
I
try not to get into it because then I'll be hooked.
I would sit in my mom's closet when I was a teenager and just play Snake for hours because I had sleeping problems. Like, I don't know why I loved to hang out in my mom's closet. She had a big closet, It's like half the size of my room, and I just felt. What I think it was is I had so much paranormal activity in my room specifically, like that my mom's closet was like away from all the crap and the bull that was going on in that house. It was like my safe haven. I would sleep in there sometimes. So weird. But I did come out of the closet. It was like your
safe room.
Eventually I came out of the closet. It was.
Okay. So, let's see. There's different chats going on in here, but Mooney is catching my eye here with E-moral or E-moral star. The act of getting sound financial advice in a spiritually moral manner from your psychic advisor.
Oh my gosh, thank you, Mooney, so much. And it's true, there's a tarot reader that does basically only does financial tarot for like stock brokers and bankers and all kinds of financial industry. And she's been in magazines. She's been in like Forbes and all of these magazines, like articles. And so that is a real thing. I feel like that might be a little bit less draining, but that would be terrible to be in charge of, telling someone if they should or shouldn't make a financial decision could actually be dangerous at times. I mean, think about it.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of
there's different paths,
people.
Different decisions you make from that time that you said that until the time that happens. So if they make
Not to mention karma.
Yeah, one decision different or whatnot, it's going to take it off kilter a little. So could be better, could be worse.
Exactly. And then also, like, a lot of people who are in high-powered positions, like CEOs and stuff, are narcissistic, sometimes psychopaths. Like, there are more psychopaths that are CEOs and, bankers and things like that, and presidents of companies than there are in society. The percentage is higher. Doesn't mean they're psychopaths are going to kill you. It means that they have no conscience in what they do. So if you tell a psychopath, but psychopaths really, like, both, because psychopaths is one level up from sociopaths. So the people that are in those high-powered CEO positions, top of banks, owners of banks, things like that, they usually teeter between sociopath and psychopath. They test so high, like some of them are actual psychopaths. But anyway, if you tell one of them to not make a financial decision or make one, and it's wrong, they will have people kill you. I mean, I'm not saying they will, but that's probably what could happen.
I think I'll make you a part of my new building.
Right. And no one would know, right? Like, that's what would freak me out, being like a psychic or a tarot reader for like the powerful people of the world, the elites. Oh, heck no, not for me. It's putting your life in danger, girl. But she's
Miss
doing
Cleo.
well. I just hope she. Yeah.
My brother, he bought me tarot cards. And thank you so much for the book that went along with it. But he sent me tarot cards that said it was delivered. They never were, so they're lost in the mail, just like my dad's ashes. And so it's like, I don't know. He's like, Miss Cleo, give me a reading.
Did you get the cards?
I haven't gotten them
yet. Did you
yet.
get the cards?
No, but I got the book that you sent me. Yeah.
It was literally just the book. I thought it was the cards and the book.
No, I think because I told you that Aaron was getting me the cards, and you're like, well, I'll get you the companion book. So, yeah.
Maybe. I'm not sure.
Yeah. I think we had that convo. Could be wrong.
Yeah. I think so, but I think if I recall, I just kind of put it in the cart, and I looked for the ones that I could find. But I'm still going to get you a deck, because someone needs to get me a deck soon, because I need more decks, and I have less that are gifted. My mom usually gives me one like once a year, every couple of years or something.
And isn't that a rule? Like, that's what I learned when I was a teenager, is the deck is supposed to be gifted to you because it is a gift. You're not supposed to buy them on your own. And I kind of cheated as far as like, when I was 16, I told my boyfriend, I really want this deck, and he bought it for me, and that's been my favorite. The one that I connected with the most so far was the Navigator's Tarot of the Mystic Sea. And so, yeah, Aaron bought me that, and then you bought me the companion book. I still have the old deck that is torn apart. I'll have to bring it in sometime to show you. My brother tore it apart when I had thrown it down the stairs at him because he was trying to assault me. And they hit him square in the forehead and made this, like, perfect circular pattern. It was so weird, but it was awesome at the same time. He didn't mess with me anymore after that, because I'm not sure, like, what he felt when it hit him. It's just a small deck of cards, but I threw him down the stairs. They stayed together until they hit him, and then they flew apart, and that's when he reached down and started tearing them. And I was like, no.
Oh, no.
So, I taped them back.
Cards, but...
Yeah. I taped them back together, and I did use them for a while after that. But, yeah, that was sad.
I think technically you are supposed to get them as gifts, but I think that most readers, especially the ones that kind of do it for a living, I mean, they enjoy them when they're gifted, and that's why they give away tarot cards. I think it's kind of like an equilibrium. If you go through a lot of decks, you can buy them for yourself, and you can also gift them, and you can also get other people to gift them to you. But like oracle cards, for instance, are not tarot cards. They're completely different, and you can do your own readings with oracle cards.
I did my own readings with the tarot cards I had, the Navigators. And for example, to Kinsey's donor, which is my oldest daughter. I did a reading for her donor, and I was like, this is just an example reading, so you know how this works. And I laid it out and everything. Dude, it told me exactly what was happening and what was going to happen and what had happened. And I quickly put it away, and I'm like, but that was just an example, thinking that that would make it not happen, but it did. And yeah, after things started to happen, I got kind of freaked out, so I never used them again.
I think cards are multidimensional, and what people, there's a lot of misconceptions about tarot cards and them being evil and them being possessed by spirits or even controlled by spirits. And I don't believe that's true at all. I think for me, a lot of times when you do a reading for someone, especially if it's a personal reading about love life and stuff, I'll have guides that come in, and I ask my guides to help me with the reading. But a lot of it has to do with your own subconscious. There's a magic power that it does, like on an earthly level, that kind of reflects the knowledge that you already carry within you and just reflects it back to you, if that makes sense. I don't think it's always necessarily, but then there are times when you do readings and you can just feel the guides, or the person that you're doing the reading for, you can feel the guides come through, cards go flying. They're like, okay, you have to hear this now. That's when you know it's like total divine intervention. But I think a lot of times it's just really reading back your own subconscious, or the person you're reading, reflecting their own subconscious to help them make decisions, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and there's so many different things you can do to cleanse them and keep them pure. Everybody's got their own little ceremony they do when they put their deck away. Generally, people don't allow other people to use their deck because they don't want it to be soiled. But for my tarot cards, I practiced a lot on doing my daily readings for myself, and then would do it for friends or family or whatnot. I did a couple years ago get some oracle cards. One was Messenger Oracle, and it had an owl on it. I don't know where the hell it went. It just disappeared. The Isis Oracle cards that I got, also I think from my brother-in-law, I allowed Kinsey to use because she's my offspring, and that's the only safe, thing that I can think of as far as cards. She needed some, so I let her use these. I'd never used them. I'm still not really, I don't know, I'm not a big fan of oracle cards for some reason. I don't know. Do you like them, oracle cards, or what is your preference?
It depends on the cards. I think oracle cards I like better if I want a question answered for myself, or at the end of a tarot reading to clarify. I think it depends on how I'm feeling at the moment. But oracle cards are good because no matter what, they usually have, depending on the deck, I really like Doreen Virtue. I mean, they're super, super light and dramatically, whatever. Doreen Virtue's her angel cards, or that type of stuff. Because no matter what, all of those cards in that deck are extremely positive. And no matter which card you choose for yourself, it's more like an affirmation, because it's it'll be okay, you just randomly pick a card for yourself. And with that particular deck, the angel oracle cards, you get a card. There's a goddess oracle, the angel oracle, whatever. And it's something that's good for anyone. It's okay, you need to do a cleanse and eat healthy foods or something like that. And it's well, duh. I mean,
is it kind of like affirmations, or?
Kind of. I mean, it'll be messages, but maybe I'll get you that deck. It's really nice because it's you can't go wrong with it, whether you're reading for yourself or someone else. I don't usually use those for other people. I actually don't have them anymore.
It's okay. Don't buy me that. Don't buy me any more stuff. Okay.
Okay.
And don't buy yourself a deck. I'll buy you a deck, and I'm gonna buy you the one which is my favorite, which is the one you bought me the book for. I think you'll love it. Out of all the decks I've ever been gifted or used or whatnot, that one I am in love with. I even got this one, which is, sorry. Oh. I know, I'm sorry. I dropped the tea. Now he's on my ass. BB2. Come on. Okay, so R.L. Poole bought me these, the Rider Tarot deck, and
the Rider Waite. or
Yeah.
Rider White or whatever.
The Rider Tarot deck is what it's called, and he said this is one of the originals. And
It
he's
is.
like, to be honest with you, I bought you this because it was like one of the cheapest ones. I'm like, well, thanks. Man, you really stroked my ego there. But I try to use these and I can't connect to them. And I did do a reading for my brother and I used it kind of like an oracle deck or whatnot. And I just did a 1-card reading for my brother on Saturday after I left the after party. And I talked to him for hours before I went down for the count forever. But he got the 8 of Swords. And I don't know. Like what it said to me, like rang true, but to you, what is the 8 of Swords? Just to get your perspective.
Well, my perspective on the 8 of Swords, see the 9 of Swords, it's very strange because I really don't get the 8 of Swords very often. But it definitely has to do with conflict. I know the 9 of Swords meaning it's mental conflict, and I think that the 8 of Swords is, honestly, I never get that freaking card. And I actually, usually, since I'm an intuitive reader, I like to look at the actual card and see how it makes me feel at the same time. Like the 8 of Swords. What's the picture on there? Can you pull out the 8 of Swords? Because I have to look at the picture. I know it sounds really stupid, but. I know that like 8s in general, it means movement or like kind of like moving towards a goal or a conclusion. But swords are generally conflict. And so it could be moving away from conflict or moving into conflict, depending on if it's reversed or upright. I don't know what the definition of the 8 of Swords is, so that's so weird. There's a couple of them that I never ever get, and that's one of them. Like that particular card, I think it has so many different like meanings. Like the 9 of Swords for me is always like nightmares. Somebody can't sleep at night because their worries, their mental worries are keeping them up at night. And I get the 9 of Swords, for people when they're just super, super stressed, can't sleep. I have gotten them in readings for myself or for other people doing my readings, which is rare, but, and it's always like mental conflict. 8s are usually walking away or walking like action, decision making, getting away from something. The 8 of Cups is all about abandoning something, moving forward in a different direction, leaving something behind, cutting ties with people. It's just weird. Like, I'm not sure. And I don't have internet, so I couldn't tell you what the actual definition is. If it's one of those cards, like one of those like 2 or 3 cards that I just never get, I can't even remember if I've ever gotten the 8 of Swords in a reading. It's like it doesn't exist. It's so weird.
And I don't know why I can't find this right now. Holy shnikes. But I just pulled it up the other day. I just gotta look through here. Yes, I believe I found it. But it's not showing everything. Gotta find another one. Okay, let's see. Weird. If they're not a member of Skype really makes things very difficult for you. But I know I saw this. I know I took a picture of it.
I'm gonna say
but
that
it had
it's
a
like
person
kind of
like blindfolded. Yeah, they were blindfolded and they were tied up, but they weren't tied up like tightly.
Yeah.
It was kind of loosely
Feeling
tied
trapped.
up.
It's about
and
feeling
there was
trapped. It's about
8 swords behind this person, and they were all stuck into the ground.
It's about feeling trapped mentally. I that's why I never get. I remember it now. See, I have to look at the picture if I'm going with the regular tarot. It's about feeling trapped mentally. feeling like you're stuck in a situation or a situationship with a person tied down. That's why I never get that. I have Aquarius, so you can't tie me down. Okay.
Can't do it.
No, yeah, it's about feeling trapped, but the weird thing about the Eight of Swords though is that it's mental, like, and the obstacles that you're seeing like in your mind, they don't actually exist. That's the weird tricky thing about the Eight of Swords. It's like you're feeling trapped, but all of these blockers and all of these things holding you back are all mental conflict. Freaking,
So
I
it's
hate
like-
the swords. It's the worst suit.
Yeah, I was like, I'm not going to look through the deck because it'd be taking me forever to find it, but here it is on the very bottom. But here's the picture.
Yep. That's her feeling that she's trapped, but how they describe it is that if you see, like, she's blindfolded, but she can get out of there if she wants to.
Yeah, he said it was something
like,
about
she
making
can
your
figure
own
out a way
prison,
out.
your own mental or spiritual prison, and
Yeah.
that you can break free from it
Exactly.
easily. It's just having to get a certain realization.
Exactly. And then the Nine of Swords, which is right after that, which for some reason, because I always think always like pops up, that it's about like not being able to sleep, worries. It's kind of the same as the Eight of Swords in a way, only Eight of Swords is about feeling stuck or trapped, and Nine of Swords is just like freaking out about things that really aren't that big of a deal. So it's like kind of the same card in a way. I hate the swords. Swords suck. It's the worst suit. It's necessary though, except for the whatchamacallit, the what do you call it? The king, queen, all those.
Oh, the page?
Yeah,
There's
well,
king,
all
queen,
of those.
page.
Yeah. There's a word for it though.
Suit?
The minor arcana, the suit, the royal suit. I don't know the technical terms, but like
It's like a
that
hierarchy,
part of,
basically.
yeah. I can't think of the word right now. I don't know. My brain's off. But like the Queen of Swords, I always see that as for like divorced women or women that are just, they can be cold and they won't take any more crap from people. You know how women get kind of bitter sometimes?
Yeah.
And, they're not necessarily gender specific, that the suit of the king, queen, page, and whatever, they're not always gender specific, but I feel like that most of the time almost always is a woman. It can be an ex-lover that's just kind of bitter, or it can just literally be when you're like not tuned into your heart at all and you're just focused on yourself, being direct, sharp-tongued, cutting people off, tell it like it is. May seem cold, but it's the bitch card. Ultimately, it is. But anyway, like those ones don't bother me as much as the numbered sword. I hate them. It's Two of Swords. Like, what the heck is Two of Swords? This crap. It's mental conflict between two decisions. Like, why is this stupidest suit? But I think it's necessary. But the King of Swords isn't that bad.
He bad.
He's kind of a jerk.
Well, Mooney in the chat room, going back to when I said, well, is it kind of like affirmations? No, it's not, but he's asking if we could please explain affirmations. Well, for me, I remember the guy from Saturday Night Live that would do affirmations in the mirror. And, you are loved. You're a good person. You say these things to yourself in the mirror is best because you can look at someone and say it instead of just saying it into the air. And sometimes people will use little sticky notes and they'll put different things that they're having issues with as far as, self-worth or whatever else is going on in their life. And they'll do different affirmations like that. And you can do it once a day or twice or 3 times a day and call me in a week with, what's happened so far. But it's pretty cool, and it's a good thing to do because it's a mental thing. Not only are you thinking it, you're saying it out loud to yourself and looking yourself in the eye and making this affirmation, trying to make a change. And I just lost her, damn it. Damn it, Houston, we have a problem. Mia, can you hear me? Are you there? Good God. But yeah, affirmations to me.
Can you hear me?
Yes. That's what affirmations are. You know, telling yourself it'll be okay and doing different things to direct your mind. Just like if you have a demon, you have to recircuit. You have to think more positive instead of going with the negative thoughts or some sort of attachment or parasite or
Fluffy
whatever
bunnies.
the hell you want to call it. Yes, throw fluffy bunnies like Linda. Wasn't that Linda that did that? I throw fluffy bunnies.
Yes, I think so. Yes.
That was awesome. It worked too. They didn't like that shit. Okay,
Like,
so
affirmations.
yeah,
Go ahead.
exactly where I was going.
Oh, go ahead.
No, affirmations. I was looking
I
for
was
your
gonna say, like-
perspective on that.
Oh, okay. So I'm a realist person, and some of us need, like, we want to see the evidence, you know, instead of, because it gets repetitive telling you the same crap to yourself every day, and you're like, this isn't doing jack. Why am I doing this? But if you tell yourself, and this is the truth, that there's science to back it up, that you can change the molecular structure of water by saying either a prayer or, like you said with the sharks, ooh, everything goes in a circle, right? So you play death metal to sharks and they go
Thrash.
crazy, right? They mosh. Yeah, they mosh, right? Not really.
Shark
They go
thrash.
crazy. Yes, that's because that's the energy that it's putting out. It's the same thing if you say a prayer to water versus saying something very negative to water. The water can change on a molecular level and create these formations that are very different. One of them looks sporadic and jagged and ugly, and the other one looks like a pretty little snowflake, right? That's obviously when you say nice things to water. And our bodies are made of what, 70% of water, something like that? And 70, is it 70 or 80% water? I don't know.
I believe it's 70.
It's been a long time. I think so too. And so if you think of it that way, like our body and the earth has so much water, and you put the positive affirmations into yourself, ultimately it should work. It should change you and change who you are and change your molecular structure. Like, I feel like I'm kind of like a chameleon in a sense that I have changed the way that I look and the way that I talk to myself in my life and my whole thing a few times in this one lifetime. And I feel like they say every 7 years or something that your whole DNA structure changes and all that weird stuff in your eyesight and all these things. I think that's 100% true, but it can change for the better or the worse, right? And so if you try to keep that mindset and believe your own things when you say them, those nice things to yourself, then ultimately they will manifest through your affirmations. There we go.
And it's kind of like that butthole that we had come onto our page, and I do the daily, message from the universe, and he's like, what is this crap, How is the universe really speaking to me? Well, what you don't realize is we're all made of stardust, I don't know. We all have stardust particles in us. It's been proven scientifically.
You mean the hypocrite?
Yeah, that guy who's also an author.
Who's
of,
also an
children's
author in the
books.
paranormal community. Yes, exactly. A very, very basic book. I won't call him out, but he's a jerk. But he said
every
things
day.
like this. I have it here. He says, is it knowing that we are leaving behind our loved ones? And he started saying, after death, spirits continue to exist as a reminder of the living. When a loved one passes with no warning. Well, then there's one part where he just starts talking about, feelings and positivity. And I'm like, you're really going to go and troll on the Facebook page of another paranormal investigators team and troll on their affirmations, but you're literally out here writing books about this?
And he was talking in circles a lot. From what I heard, I was like, okay, he's saying this, and then he's saying another thing, and then he's saying another thing and another thing, which is basically going in circles because he's going one direction, and then he's going back to another. So it feels like he's trying to, as an author, relate to everyone. There's no way you can do that. You got to be who you are and be honest. And I don't know. It seemed like BS to me, what I read. But it was just ridiculous. And I said, I don't write these. I get these from Healing Energy Tools. If you guys want to check them out, they have so many different cool things that you can read. I don't share everything, but I do share a lot. And because I enjoy it, and so I figured other people would, so I made that a part of our page every day, and he was just going out and saying, well, you're giving false affirmations and false information to people, and trying to make them happy with lies, so on and so forth. Like,
he literally
all this
said
ridiculous
lies,
stuff.
lies, and more lies, or more
Crap,
lies on
garbage.
on a positive affirmations post that's literally not even giving you. He said false hope or something. This is a very troubled man, and he has some serious insecurities, and I think he has some jealousy issues of, I don't know how he views the, poor corners. I don't know how he views that, but
he must be threatened or something. I don't know.
I think that's what it is. I genuinely think that he is just kind of trolling because of his own insecurities. And I did a background check on him. I'm just saying, like, I don't mess around with trolls. Like, I did a background check on him, and, he's a male Pisces, and prove me wrong. I do not meet a lot of evolved male Pisces. I'm just saying there are some. I just haven't met them. And
if you're out there,
seems like he's being,
let us know.
No, I've met one or two. I know they are out there. I meet more evolved female Pisces than I do men, and it comes out in strange ways, their emotions. And I think that's what it was. I think
it's kind of awkward. It's like, I want to help you, but you're making me feel really awkward right now.
Exactly.
Why are you so emotional?
Mm-hmm. I don't want to be mean to male Pisces, because I'm sure there's some amazingly. They are spiritual. Just all Pisces are generally spiritual, but some of the males, because they're all male water signs, if they don't know how to deal with their emotions, they come out in strange ways. I'm calling them out because I can do that because I'm a water sign, so I'm allowed. But I think male Scorpios hold it in better, but male Cancers and male Pisces just have a tendency to sulk, make you feel awkward, guilt trip.
Sandra,
sometimes, not all of them.
My beautiful sister Sandra said that her hubby is a Pisces. I'd love to hear her input.
Really?
Oh, Mooney said, that's me. Ooh.
Mooney's a Pisces?
No, he said, that's me. I'm assuming, and I could be making an ass of myself by assuming, but...
Well, no.
He said he's Aquarius. Okay, good.
Oh, that's not a water sign. I was going to say, Mooney's did not remind me ever of a Pisces male. Okay. No, but Aquariuses are not water signs, even though their name is Aquarius, which makes no sense to me at all, or anyone else. But
he said, I have no social skills, but he has a sick sense of humor too, so, you get off-put a lot, and people don't quite get you. But we have a little club going on. It's called the We Are Paradox Media After Party. I'm just kidding.
I want to take back my comments and just say that water in people's charts that isn't properly placed, and they don't want to evolve from it, and they're unevolved in general spiritually. I'm not putting anyone down. I'm just saying poorly placed water placements are the worst. Are the worst. They'll bring down a room. Just saying. I'm allowed to say that again, because I'm sure at some point in my life I've done that. I'm sure, because I have water, unfortunately. But
Gnome Drew and his mother truck of gnomes said he's a fire sign. I don't know what I am. I think I'm an earth sign. I'm not sure. What the hell am I?
You're fire. You're fire.
Yeah,
you're fire and air. You're 100% fire. You're like the fire sign, in my opinion, but I'm biased.
Nice.
Aquariuses and Sagittariuses, they're like the best of friends, like in the zodiac. Like they feed off each other, because Aquarius is an air sign and Sagittarius is a fire sign, and so like the Aquarius feeds the fire and the fire feeds the air. It's the weirdest thing. I don't know.
And what's your sign again?
Well, unfortunately I'm a water sign, Pisces, but I'm on the cusp of Aquarius, and I have an Aquarius moon. And Aquarius
funny.
Mercury. So.
Did you even notice, and I didn't notice until somebody told me, but they did a whole new astrological calendar due to shifts or whatever. And I read the new one according to what Sagittarius would be, and I'm like,
Ophelia.
that's BS.
It's crap.
Yeah, total BS. Does not explain anything. Go back to all the other...
There are some weird similarities between Ophelius and everything like that. And I do think, because if you're talking about sidereal, or whatever it's called, astrology, then your sign would change, right? So you would technically be a Scorpio, and I would technically be an Aquarius, right? But we are working off of Western astrology, and we have been for so long. And I actually have heard multiple astrologers debate the whole 13th sign thing. I've heard too many dispute it. I do understand it, because some of the similarities, like, for instance, you're a November Sagittarius, and there is a difference between a November Sagittarius and like a late December Sagittarius and a mid-December, because there's something called decans. So you're in the first decan of it, right? So that's a whole other thing. Like, there's 3 decans per sign, right? So when I talk about you being like a November Sagittarius versus a late December Sagittarius, it's because there's decans that are ruled by different signs. And so the personalities are different, kind of. So even though you can be a Sagittarius, someone else can be a Sagittarius, your decans are different, not to mention the rest of your chart, but you have different kind of characteristics. Like, I'm like the very first decan of Pisces, right? So my co-ruler is like, I think it's the moon or Pluto. I think it's the moon. And so that just changes the personality traits, right? I don't know. It's strange. Deacon, if you want to find your real sun sign only personality, look at your whatever decan that your sun sign is in. And they're all different. It's pretty cool. But
very interesting and intriguing.
yeah.
I love to make fun of myself. Okay, so we have to go on our second musical break. Here we have Mr. Hosni Bronx from Jamaica, as well as the Bronx of New York with Free Child. King Cinnamon from Biafra, Nigeria with Rosie. And then Hosni Bronx again with Strong Life. You guys don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this musical break.
Who decided this life?
Funky on the beats.
Suck my boobs, you got my body loose. Anytime you talk me, you got me confused. Suck my boobs, you got my body loose. Anytime you talk me, you got me confused. Cinnamon, cinnamon, do it softly. I said you wine your body, eat the sweetie, sweetie. Make it rock my body, I am feeling horny. Make it touch my body, I am feeling sweetie. Suck my boobs, you got my body loose. Anytime you talk me, you got me confused. Suck my boobs, you got my body loose. Anytime you talk me, you got me confused. All my men, they wear out. All my guys, they wear out. Imarama, Imarama, Rosie. Imarama, Imarama, Rosie. All my men, they wear out. All my guys, they wear out. Imarama, Imarama, Rosie. Imarama, Imarama, Rosie. Mukomukeji, go bere muketa. Oya mukomukeji, oya bere muketa. Daddy mu ekon, omo ni pe mukeji. Daddy bere muketa, omo ni fún mi lẹ́yìn. Daddy fisi fisi, omo ni ẹjọ́. Daddy saucy saucy, omo ni ẹjọ́. Daddy kosi kosi, omo ni ẹjọ́. Daddy tohin kosi, omo ni ẹjọ́. Daddy and his baby, them dey for corner. Daddy begin the touch and the girl dey holla. Now daddy begin the open the shirt collar. Now something come out, daddy begin the suck am. Daddy mu ekon, omo ni pe mukeji. Daddy bere muketa, omo ni fún mi lẹ́yìn. Daddy fisi fisi, omo ni ẹjọ́. Daddy saucy saucy, omo ni ẹjọ́ ẹjọ́. All my men they wear out. All my guys they wear out. Imarama, Imarama, Rosie. Imarama, Imarama, Rosie. All my men they wear out. All my guys they wear out. Imarama, Imarama, Rosie. Imarama, Imarama, Rosie. Suck my boobs, you got my body loose. Anytime you talk me, you got me confused. Suck my boobs, you got my body loose. Anytime you talk me, you got me confused. Cinnamon, cinnamon, do it softly. I see the wine your body, eat the sweetie, sweetie. Make it rock my body, I am feeling horny. Make it touch my body, I am feeling sweetie. Suck my boobs, you got my body loose. Anytime you talk me, you got me confused. Suck my boobs, you got my body loose. Anytime you talk me, you got me confused. Kissy, kissy, I'm money, edge. Daddy saucy, saucy, I'm money, edge. Daddy kosi, kosi, I'm money, edge. Daddy kahe kosi, I'm money, edge. Daddy contact, I'm money, edge. Daddy comfort, daddy consist, I'm money, edge. Daddy can't eat, daddy 120, I'm money, edge. Daddy 18, daddy 240, I'm money, edge. Daddy 360. Daddy and the baby, them there for corner. Daddy begin the touch and the girl the holla. Daddy begin the open the shirt collar. I come to come, daddy begin the sucker. Daddy mu ekon, omo ni pe mukeji. Daddy bere muketa, omo ni fún mi lẹ́yìn. Daddy fisi fisi, omo ni ẹjọ́. Daddy saucy saucy, omo ni ẹjọ́ ẹjọ́. All my men they wear out. All my guys they wear out. Imarama, 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 Imarama.
Oh yeah, it's funky on the beats.
Babylon to make you suffer. Babylon to make you suffer. Babylon Babylon make you suffer. What is desire? Young life. We are ready to fight. Hard life for my people. I don't know why my people live this life. I don't know why my people live this life. I don't know how to fight, 'cause my people suffer. Whoa, whoa, whoa. What do you want, Babylon? I don't understand why this world is so strange, strange with my people. I don't know how to fight, but if we are together, it will work. It will work. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Babylon no have no heart. 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 My people, you have to survive. Yeah, you must live with you and make your own way. You must not give up. The beginning of the revolt will start. We need to follow our true destiny. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Yeah, 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 yeah. I don't know why my people live this life. I don't know why my people live this life. The obstacle we face, yeah, is Babylon. The world is a good place, yeah, for our freedom. You take everything, you don't bring anything, yeah, yeah. Young life, all anti-dread. We must believe in a magical, powerful force that unite us, and not just these people stay speechless again. We don't want to talk, no, it's time to fight, yeah. We start talking. Babylon make you suffer. 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 What is desire? Young life. We are ready to fight.
Welcome back, and thanks so much for listening to us tonight on We Are Paradox Media's Late Night in the Rockies. Thank you, Mea Savage, for talking to us tonight. I got mind slipped because we're talking about reggae and how it's positive. How could nobody like reggae? But I'm sure there's different reasons. Like, I used to like country, and then there's a long time that I didn't because of certain happenings in my life. So for me, it was a negative, even though before it was a positive, then it became a negative, and then I'm kind of warming up to it a little bit. Brad Paisley, oh my god, I love that guy. He's so positive, and he's funny. But yeah, okay, so don't get you into dreads, because the only negative I can think of is, it's kind of gross, even though I heard they clean it in a certain way, but the spider story I heard really freaked me out. Did you hear that one?
No.
So there was a guy.
I don't think so.
He had dreads and got on a flight. I guess within his dreads, there was a spider nest. He did not know. And so during this flight, the spiders like hatched. And it was a total freak out. You know, it wasn't snakes on a plane. It was spiders on a plane. But it was really gross.
Spiders on a dreads on a plane.
Yeah, spiders on the dreads on the plane. So why not get into dreads? Is there something about dreads you know?
Yes.
That I
Okay.
don't?
So I've seen this before, and let me just be very clear about this. Not everyone with dreadlocks. This is not pertaining to everyone with dreadlocks. However, I don't know how much people believe in the whole, I think that like the whole reptilian thing is like an interdimensional thing. Like there may be reptilians, but they might not exist on this level, right? They may have some DNA from, you know, the reptilian, Draconius, whatever. And not all are bad. And if they even exist at all, this could just be, I think it's more of a multidimensional thing. Anyway, so basically, some people who are spiritual, including not David Icke, because he's crazy. But anyway, some spiritualists, multiple spiritualists, believe that dreads can be a sign of spiritual distress or entanglement. And speaking from experience, I dated a guy who was tormented by evil entities. If it wasn't himself, he was tormented with them. He had dreadlocks. And the longer they got, the crazier he got. I don't know what it was. He washed
Maybe the
them.
pulling on the
Yeah.
head? Because I know,
He
like,
looked-
if I keep my hair
You know
up...
in Alien versus Predator?
Yeah.
He looked like Predator, which is kind of hot in a weird way. Maybe there's something wrong with me, but he totally claimed to have had like total reptilian DNA or whatever. And then I read from...
Didn't he
Who the
rip out
heck
on
is
you
this
once?
guy?
Was that the same one that ripped out on you?
No, that wasn't the same. I mean, he claimed, and I did see some weird stuff with him, but the one that ripped out on me was a complete stranger in broad daylight in a park. Completely, 100% sober in a park at like a barbecue party. This guy climbed up on the table with his lizard tongue, started to turn into one, and I don't know if I was just spiritually aware. And then he pulled back real quick, like, oops, and then says, oops, I thought you were someone else. And that's when my life kind of changed at that moment for a completely different reason. I mean, I don't know. Anyway, that was crazy. But he didn't want to hurt me. I didn't feel like. But I don't know if he was trying to freak me out or what. But I saw everything, like his skin change, his tongue, his eyes, everything. Like, and he crawled like a lizard onto a table at a gathering with a bunch of people that were friends. I don't know. It was very strange. I thought somebody had drugged my drink, but nothing else happened.
Yeah, I didn't like turn into that scene from Fear and Loathing where everybody at the picnic turned into a lizard person.
Turned into lizards.
Oy.
Right. No, it was just that. And and he was nice about it. He's like, oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were someone else, but not that nice. He was like, oh, sorry. I thought you were someone else.
I was about to kill
like,
you, but I guess I won't because I was
yeah.
wrong. At least you realized it
I think he thought
before.
I was a lizard. He's like, let me just shapeshift real quick. No big deal. Broad daylight. Like, let me just do this. Oh, oops. You're not one of us. Okay. Oops.
No,
I don't know.
I'm a different type of mutant. You know, not sure what quite yet, but one of those.
But I have
afraid.
Oliver Wilde, I think his name was.
Mm-hmm.
Oliver Wilde. I believe he is deceased. He is amazing. He spoke about dreadlocks being kind of a bad thing, kind of pulling you down into the lower energy fields, if that makes sense. And
Yeah, when I think of
that
dreadlocks, like I think of Ross the People and Bob Marley, one of the greatest prophets on the earth, and I think about the rainbow people and hippies and most people that I've met with dreads are not bad people. So, like, hearing this is just, like, kind of weird or kind of off-putting to me. Weird is the
No,
term
I feel
wanna
the
use.
same way, but here's like, and I don't feel that totally. I think you should always, with spiritual stuff, just everyone should stay in the gray area because it's never black and white. You know what I mean? So what if someone is a demonic reptilian lizard? They could be cool people.
Yeah, could be
you know
a,
what I'm
like,
saying?
easy way to disguise yourself, I guess, if you have these weird nodules or whatnot on your head.
And I'm not saying, I think you're absolutely right about Bob Marley, and I was just discussing about how a lot of reggae music, you know, pulls the spirit up, in my opinion. Like, or it did. Maybe it's just part of my childhood, growing up around hippies. I don't know, but I never got that. But occasionally I will see this. Occasionally I will see someone with dreads, and I will get a really bad vibe.
Yeah.
Well,
I have
1
to
in
ask,
5, 1 in 10, something like that.
I have to ask this question real quick because I think this is the second time Mooney's asked this, but he is asking, are most humanoids who have dreadlocks really reptoids? And if so, what solar system are they from?
I mean, I think that's an excellent question. I don't have the answer, unfortunately, because I'm just noticing things that I've noticed, what I've seen with like my third eye and everything else, and the information that I've personally experienced. Like I said, I've known people with dreadlocks who were cool people, who were hippies, who were chill, who showed no signs of hostility. And then occasionally I'll see a guy with dreads and I'll get a really negative vibe. Like there's not necessarily of him, could just be an attachment to him. You know, like even the guy that I dated that was supposedly like, you know, we'll call him a reptoid or a hybrid or whatever. He had his nice moments. like it wasn't like, I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, if that makes any sense. So I'm not saying definitely not everybody with dreads is a reptile. I mean, that's the stupidest thing to say ever, but it is kind of interesting how the Alien versus Predator chose that for the Predator, and how they're not all reptilian races, but supposedly, depending on where you get your information from, there's Alpha Draconius or something like that is one of the star systems they're supposed to be from or whatever. But they're not all bad, you know, supposedly. And there's ones from different, supposedly, if you're going into that, star systems as well. So I never want to spread that that's the truth because like I, you know, in Jamaican culture, dreadlocks are a part of their culture, and a lot of African and African American people as well, dreads or, you know, braids or things like that. That's part of their culture, as opposed to some people with dreads who just get dreads or they want to be hippies or whatever. But spiritual turmoil is what I've read on a few different, maybe I'll like send like a couple of the websites or whatever. I think it's always good to sit back from like a non-biased perspective on this because you know, you never know. And I don't think anything is black and white in this universe.
Neat. Well, and it's funny, like, we were talking before about The Simpsons and predictions, so on and so forth. I just recently read that they had, man, there's so many things I've seen them predict that is insane. One of the most recent that I've seen was the COVID virus going on. But I did pull up a video here from Screen Rant, and I was going to play that really quick and see what exactly they had to say because I haven't heard this yet, so I think it'd be interesting.
Yes, I think that would be
Simpsons have been
interesting.
known to have a writer's room full of modern Nostradamuses, or Nostradami? Anyway, the point is, these folks are fortune tellers on a level we haven't seen since biblical times. So what does King Homer and the gang have in store for us in 2021? Let's look at some times the Simpsons saw into the future and why some folks are freaked out about what they see coming for 2021. Since the dawn of Homer, we've seen the Simpsons make predictions from Super Bowl wins to NSA surveillance scandals to tiger attacks and magic shows. Sorry, Siegfried and Roy, but to be fair, you didn't need to be the Simpsons to see that one coming. Just in the season 6 episode Lisa's Wedding alone, they predict video chat, smartwatches, and the construction of the Shard building in the London skyline 17 years before it was built. It's not just the older classic seasons either. In season 21, they had Homer on the U.S. curling team beating Sweden for gold 8 years before the exact matchup in Pyeongchang. In season 23, they knew Lady Gaga would be in the Super Bowl halftime show, although when she did, she didn't take their cue on a fireworks projecting bra because, well, you know, divas probably. Even when they're wrong, they're right. When season 11 came out in 2000, would you have expected to picture President Donald Trump conceding to President Lisa?
We've inherited quite a budget crunch from President Trump.
Hey, don't get mad at me. I voted for Kodos. While we're on voting, they predicted in 2008 voting machines where people try to vote for one candidate and the machine selected another, only to have that happen in the very next presidential election when a voting machine wouldn't let a voter select then President Obama. It didn't count, relax. How about some science? Homer becomes an inventor in the 10th season and writes an equation on a chalkboard. Years later, when scientists discovered the Higgs boson, also known as the God particle, look it up, nerds. Well, it turns out that the mass was similar to Homer's work. Three-eyed fish in rivers, mutant tomatoes, stealing grease for cash. It's all been thought of by the ghosts of Springfield past. You might call them writers, but I'd call them prophets of Evergreen Terrace. Oh, and did I mention that they also called Disney acquiring the rights to The Simpsons themselves? Smart like a group of 20th century foxes. So, what has the internet community all up in arms? Well, I mean, besides that and that. Okay, so their arms are always up on something, but what I'm trying to segue casually to is the fact that in the recent Halloween episode, known to fans as the Treehouse of Horrors, the writer's room was especially sour on the outlook of America in 2021. Oh, haven't we had enough of this year? Well, someone left some black licorice in their candy bowls because they painted a pretty bleak picture of where America will be in a year's time. Firstly, they start us in nice and casual-like with a general apocalypse since Homie forgot to vote. He slept through it, and by the time Inauguration Day, January 20th, 2021 appears on screen, well, let's just say those killer robots are a little worse to Hans Moleman than your typical football in the groin. As Hans puts it in the way only his kind wrinkled peanut can. Oh, that's what I get for voting for Kanye! The divinations don't end there. Fans have noted after the election that the map actually shown on screen in the episode pretty closely matches what the final electoral college map ended up being. Some of the states that flipped from red to blue match up. This could be a sign that someone in Springfield is a close observer of substandard polling, but fans are not convinced. How the creators of the show know this information is anyone's guess. Maybe these oracles traded their souls for donuts, or perhaps guest star Lucy Lawless put it best when she said, "A wizard did it." Sure, we could flatly assume that they're just a bunch of soothsayers who landed a cushy Hollywood job to settle their outstanding gambling debts, but that would just be too easy. The truth is, the show has always held up a mirror to society, which has influenced society in turn. Paul McCartney responded to a 50-year-old fan letter, as happened in an episode where Marge painted an homage to Ringo. As one of the original and longest-standing writers, Al Jean said in an article with the BBC, "If you make enough predictions, then 10% will turn out to be right." Since much of the writing takes place long before it's animated, the creators are sometimes forced to project months ahead of the airing of an episode, so they'll make assumptions to seem timely. Just this year, in a 2020 interview with The Hollywood Reporter, Simpsons writer Bill Oakley spoke candidly about how the show has been eerily accurate on their predictions. There are very few cases where The Simpsons predicted something. It's mainly just coincidence because the episodes are so old that history repeats itself.
We're through the looking glass here, people.
The reason The Simpsons have been in our homes and hearts for this long is because they've always known where we've been guides where we're going. For years, the residents of Springfield have been holding up a mirror to our modern society and sneaking in historical context to the point that they've made history themselves. What parts of their 2021 predictions do you see coming true, and do you have any predictions of your own? Share below in the comments, and make sure to like and subscribe for more from us.
Pretty interesting. I didn't say anything about the COVID, but I did read that on another thing about The Simpsons earlier, that they did predict that. and so many other
A
things. It's
pandemic
insane.
coming from an Asian country in a box is what happened on that episode that you're
As
talking
Trump would call it, the vagina virus.
Yes. But I think that's crap. I think it's predictive programming. And like you said, they're predicting something months and years in advance. You know, that's predictive programming. I think that I'm just going to go with the fun version instead of the boring version and just say that, you know, we've been in contact, which is a known fact, with extraterrestrials for hundreds of years. And why wouldn't the people that are at the top of the food chain do this? Because fact is, in fact, more interesting than fiction most of the time, especially when you're running out of things to write. But it's more fun that way, right? If you think of it that way. I think it's more fun than thinking of it as 10% because they make so much content and whatever. Because 10% of Family Guy did not come to pass.
Well, it's funny because I did pull this up last week when we were talking about Simpsons predictions. And the one that pulled up last week when I put in 2021 predictions was 8 minutes and 27 seconds. This one is 5, but I could not find the one that I found before. So, they've been filtering and doing other things and freaking blocking people. Like, if you get so many different flags, they'll block you. For us, it would be
it's
2
insane.
flags. Yeah, we got one due to one of our hosts. And they said if you get another one, then you can't post anything for a week. Like, it's a pain in the ass. So perhaps that's where that went, because I couldn't look it up again. It was weird.
Well, YouTube has been just going crazy. Like, for music artists, this is what they recently started doing. This makes me so mad because they already filter things by popularity, right? So even if you put something in word for word, it'll go with the most popular thing first, and it's usually something completely unrelated. So small-time creators or artists or musicians or whoever, it takes a lot of time. And only if they think they can make something from you doing this, they're going to do it. Or if you are paying for yours, then they might be a little bit more lenient. But like for artists now, they usually use a distributor to post their content. And now they're not allowing comments if your music is posted by a distributor, which is stupid because that's where most of the views come from is if a distributor, puts it. I don't know. It's just, man, there needs to be a new YouTube. I think TikTok is getting close. As soon as they start being able to do longer videos, which they're already starting to do, they're going to start doing like 3-minute videos. I think that's going to be coming up in the future because, man, it's crazy. Like, I've made money on TikTok without even trying. I've made money. Like, I didn't even know I could make money. Then I looked, I'm like, $20. But
that's
no,
cool.
right? Because you get paid like for every 1,000 views or something like that. And I didn't know that. And I was like, what is this? Clicked a button. $20 for me. Like, it was not for my music account because they filter through that one got kind of screwy because I messed up and put some conspiracy stuff, and then I got shadow banned, which don't ever do that. But my animals and the ranch ones, like, I get crazy amounts of views and stuff. I think it's the future though, and I think it's less filtered now. I don't know because they sold out, so we'll see what happens. But man, YouTube, all those cool creators speaking truth and conspiracy theories and all that stuff. You can't even. It all
started at the zoo.
Well, you can't even say the word conspiracy theory on some platforms.
Yeah.
I get shadow banned partially because I wear a mask, and then I get somehow the algorithm thinks I'm part of Anonymous. And so I get all these weird hackers on my account that say, like, I'm so glad you're a hacker like me, and weird stuff. And I'm like, I'm not anonymous. Like, it's so strange, like, everything. And I don't know. I think it is because there's a lot of hacker groups and hackers and things like that out there. Partially trolls, all that stuff. Bots, things like that.
Is that Producer Mayor?
It's too filtered, though. I feel like it's so messed up. Okay, Kitty, you wanted in, now you want out.
Yeah, okay. We call that Producer Mayor. Max, who is Nikki's cat, was our first producer, and then after he unfortunately passed away. We had Mr. Baca. I'm hoping Mr. Baca is on a poon quest. That's why he's been gone since the 15th of December. I'm hoping against unluckily hope that he didn't get eaten by a fox or a hawk, or I saw a bald eagle the day before he disappeared. So I'm just like, I hope he's just on a poon quest. But yeah, now your cat can take over for Baca because we have no producer Mares in the house and we need a producer to keep us in line. So thank you so much, producer Mare, for coming in and saving our ass.
And she gives no Fs.
Mm-hmm.
She gives no Fs. She chases dogs. Like she's no, like straight up. She will chase them for hours. There's our neighbor's dog, like this little dog. She'll just chase him around the house for hours. She slaps me, like she'll come and attack me and like run away. I left her in the barn for like 3 hours. 4 mice I found, literally dead. She doesn't eat them. She is a killer cat. Like
Mr. Baca was awesome, and we allowed him to keep his nuts because he is the hunter meow. And dude, he would not only hunt the mice in our house, but I'd go outside and smoke and see him killing the outside mice too. I'm like, damn, Baca, you get a raise, cat. Man. We gotta promote your ass.
Well, they gotta earn their keep, you know. Like cats, if they don't want to love me, like I'm cool with a big fat house cat, right? Like I'm totally cool with that. But most cats are like, you give me love when I want love, right? Like I take love when I want it. That's the way cats are.
Yeah,
like,
that's how Shadow is. But since Baca's been missing, she's been extra close. And when I go out and call him, I'll be like, Baca Mare, Baca Mare, hoping he'll come back and he'll hear me and come back from the poon quest. But either he's on one of those or the crazy cat lady 2 doors down has him. Not quite sure. But he'll be free eventually. If she does, he'll get free and come home. But yeah, he was amazing.
I'd almost bet that because if my cat out here in the boonies can survive. I think hawks and owls and stuff, yes, they do hunt animals, but out here they have a vast supply of animals, mice. Yeah, like in Arizona,
dogs.
There's no prairie dogs. There's very few mice, and there's some jackrabbits, but it's a desert, so they are more likely to eat a cat out there than they are here. Like my dog hasn't been preyed upon, my cat hasn't been preyed upon. Like I only had like 1 chicken die once. But that was just because chickens are easy. They were small baby chickens, not chicks, but very small. So an owl ate it because I didn't put a roof on their coop like a dummy. And but I thought they were fine for 1 day. I was wrong. An owl came and did that, but never had a problem with anything larger because flight birds, like predatory birds, they don't want to carry anything that's too heavy either, too. And or that fights either. So like a cat and a dog is only if they're really hungry.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm holding out hope. You know, he's a good cat. He's very smart. I just think
if he has
there's
his nuts, then
yeah,
that's
what I'm hoping it is. He's got his nuts. He's going on a poon quest. Number 2 could have been prey. Number 3, crazy cat lady's got him. Number 4 of my theories, I'm sorry about the dog. I think that's my grand dog, my daughter's dog. So, she just recently moved back in. Holy shnikes, the hounds of hell are loose. Theory 4. Okay, so we have a house being built in the field next to us that has been empty forever. And, he'd go over there every day and hang out with them. And they started to call him Trumpy, because they thought he was from the Trump house at the beginning of the driveway. And I just laughed when they told me that. And I was like, no, he doesn't come from that house. He comes from over here. And his name is Mr. Baca or Chewy Baca, if you want to get literal. But yeah, he comes from over here. So if you see him again, please give me a call on this card, this number. So maybe he ran away because they were calling him Trumpy and he couldn't handle it. I don't know.
He just hid away.
All right, so like I told you earlier, I had written down a few things. So I'll read some of these headlines to you, and then you can let me know which one you'd like to talk about. Okay, so bombers, and the first time I saw it, they said this was the third time, have been flying over the Persian Gulf due to, I believe it's Iran. They're really mad at us because we killed one of their peeps, so our bombers are flying over there. Could be another fit from the president, could be because we need to. Number 2, Colorado, due to remote learning and kids being online and doing their schooling and such, sexual predators are coming out online and targeting these kids. Number 3, Missouri, skydiving has skyrocketed. People can't go to the mall or do other things they generally do, so now instead of dying from COVID, they're jumping out of perfectly good airplanes. One of my favorites.
Nope.
Yeah, me neither. Yeah, if the plane's going down and there's a parachute, I'll jump out, but otherwise, yeah, I'm good.
But why don't we get parachutes in planes? Because I'm one of those people, I didn't used to be, but I am terrified of flying. I literally have a prescription for anxiety that I got from my doctor. And on the prescription, it says for flight anxiety. That's how afraid that I am. And I will pop 2 of those bad boys and chug a glass of wine I think it's not necessarily that I'm afraid of heights. It's that my grandfather was a pilot. And if I can't see the pilot, because I'm okay on small planes, but if I'm on a commercial flight and I can't see the pilot and I don't know what's going on and there's a bunch of people and I already have social anxiety, I freak out. I had a cop, an airport police, 2 airport cops after I got off of a flight come and check on me, and because I was acting not suspicious, like in a like a
sketchy,
threatening way, but yeah, they thought I was being like sex trafficked or something. I'm like, no, trust me, I'm cool. Like,
I just don't want to fly.
I just don't like flying. I'm sorry, I was crying and squeezing things. Like, it's so weird. I'd never had it happen until just like a few years ago, but yeah, like I don't think skydiving should. Whatever floats your boat. It doesn't float mine. If that's what you want to do. If I knew I only had a certain amount of time to live, I would absolutely do it 100%. But I'm kind of one of those people where if I do something that could potentially be stupid, let's say I'm in a group of people and we're all going to do something kind of potentially stupid. I'm not a Sagittarius like you. I don't have that luck. I will be the one that gets pinned for everyone.
Okay, so that's one of the things I disagreed with the thing you were talking about the luck and people there to help you. Like, I have people, like friends online that help me, but as far as in my house, surrounded by my family, like asking for help is like being beside the Titanic when it's going down and hoping for somebody to throw you a life ring. Like, it's not going to happen. There's too much going on.
The deacon thing? You mean the deacon thing?
Yeah.
I don't think that was accurate. I looked at it. No.
If it weren't for bad luck,
the first,
I wouldn't have luck.
Never go to the first or the second astrology, because I just Googled that. Like, we were talking about censorship. Like,
yeah, if you pay for it, you get a better heading.
Exactly. So you will literally do, if you're going to astrology, unless it's like if you put something specific like birth chart calculator, there's 2 like main websites that are good that pop up and they're like within the first 3. But for some reason, especially with deacons, I found so much more information in books than I do and I can't, it's hard to memorize because there's 3 deacons per sign. So you already, obviously I know all the traits of the 12 signs, but I don't remember because I don't know why math is really bad, but it's 3 deacons per sign. So what? That's like 36 or something like that. Different things. And then not only that, you have to memorize the 2 planets of each deacon too. It's like, what? So anyway, I think that was inaccurate too, because first of all, it said that it was double ruled by Jupiter, which I thought that was strange because the first deacon isn't usually ruled by that, but okay. Anyway, it's just dumb.
Yeah, we'll find it eventually. And like I was saying,
it's going to take you time.
My friend Cindy, she's the first one that ever did a tarot reading for me and taught me about doing tarot readings, and then I eventually got my own deck. But She had this book, and it was the most accurate thing I'd ever read. I wish I could remember the name of it. I wish I could get a hold of her. Like, she's really good at disappearing. So eventually I might and ask her, what was that book? But that was the most accurate one that I'd ever read. And it was one of the originals. It was a very thick, kind of hard softback. It was like kind of like it had the leather, but it had a different like surface on it. I don't know. It was hardcore. But yeah, that was the truest to form that I had read. But going back to these headlines, one of my favorite ones was in Texas. There's a brewing company that was honoring the year of 2020 with a dumpster that was painted with a trash fire, and it was labeled 2020. So it was a dumpster trash fire labeled 2020, which is basically what 2020 really was. Miami,
I'm pretty sure I would be friends with that person.
Right. Yeah. I just had to mention that because
Like,
it was
we
so
would be
cool and it was
friends.
so perfect. Yeah. I get it. I totally get it. And then Miami, which is always very lax, has been throughout this whole COVID pandemic, very lax for COVID restrictions for New Year's. And you see some people out there on the walk or whatnot with masks on, and the majority of them walking around without masks. And then New York, it was really different this year for the ball drop. There was people in bins, basically, or kind of in their own little quarries or whatnot. And it wasn't like Times Square generally is, but they, I think, tried to put some sort of energy in there with these small groups. It was very awkward. It was kind of like a dance-off sometimes. And then, okay, so recent UFO sightings. There's been so many UFO sightings all over the place. Here, there, everywhere for you and I and so many different people. It's like, we're not hiding anymore. We really don't care. And then another thing was the Book of Enoch, the Watchers, and the Great Flood. I mean, those were just different things that I was pondering that we could talk about. But yeah, really love the dumpster fire.
Ooh, yes. Sorry, I couldn't unmute. There was a really cool analogy for 2020, and I can't think of it, but it was pretty funny. Oh yeah. No, I don't know. It was a really funny video, and it was kind of like just an analogy of 2020 and then 2021. And it was like, I don't know, it was like a song. It was like a little YouTube skit or something. And he was like, I feel good, something, and blah, 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 blah. And then he opens the door and he's like, nothing's changed, and shuts the door on the first day of 2021 or whatever. But that's true for all New Year's as well, though. Have you not noticed? Like, it took a while to even remember to put 2020. I don't know if that's my early Alzheimer's or what, but I think for most years.
It's been bad for so long, and I remember when 2020 was happening, I'm like, it's got to get better. Or if not, it'll get worse before it starts to get better, and then it's 2021, which is when Mad Max was supposedly, the time frame of when, there's this whole water shortage and all kinds of shit happens, and everybody's going to the
was that 2021?
Yep.
Oh, I haven't seen the original Mad Max. I haven't seen that in so long. No, I don't remember.
And then we go to the
mentioned it in the
Thunderdome.
remake.
Like, Tina Turner's hot in this movie. Tell you what. But I don't want to be there. I don't want to live through that.
I think she's a Sagittarius. She's your spirit animal. Just kidding. I'm going to find out, though.
Makes sense. She's my spirit animal. No, but I don't know.
She's your spirit
Things, I don't know. I want them to be better, just like last year. I want to hold out hope that it's going to be better, but there's kind of guttural, sinking feeling.
Tina Turner's birthday is November 26th.
That's my birthday.
I know. Her birthday is November 26th. Just saying. She's your spirit animal.
Now I know. Were you in here the other night when my daughter was talking about her spirit animal? She's like, my mom's known it all this time. And
a horse.
My God. Yeah, for hours on end, she'd be running in circles throughout the yard. And I
never call it a gallop?
Yeah, a gallop through the yard, like forever. And her hair would be blowing back, and she didn't have a forehead. She had like a 6-head, sticking out there, her little alien forehead. And she's just running, smiling, happy, and neighing and such. And And she's like trying to figure out for years what her spirit animal is. And then she figures out it's a horse. And I'm like, I could have told you that.
And I resonate with her so much because like I thought I was a cat for years, but I in elementary school
You're a
I
pretty
didn't
good
have any
cat. I've
friends.
seen it.
In elementary school, I didn't like have any friends, and I would always to pretend to be like a unicorn or a horse. And then when we had PE, and it's weird because I don't remember a lot of things from my childhood, but I remember this so vividly. In PE, I was not the fastest runner in the world. I wasn't like a big girl or anything. I've never been that athletic. Like sometimes it's like you're either creative or athletic. I was definitely more like not creative, but like you're either in band or you're in sports, basically, in school. And I was more the band. And so I would be running around in PE, and it was in elementary school, and I would pretend I was a racehorse, and I would just get faster and faster and faster. And it wasn't even like pretending, it was like I would like emanate that. I was also born in the year of the horse. It'd be interesting to know what year that your daughter was born in, too. That would be very fascinating if it's
Due to the Chinese
like
zodiac, it was she is a rabbit. I'm the horse. Vern's the cock, and we all knew that. Then I have a monkey.
Ooh, rabbits are cool.
Yeah.
You're the horse?
Yeah.
I'm a horse. You're a horse. That's so. We're definitely the most fun.
We are. I concur.
100. And also, very good at sales. If we want to sell something to you, we can sell it. As long as we believe in it. Okay, sorry.
Quit giving away all the trade secrets.
Okay, but it's true. Like if we were to go into real estate or something, like, but who wants to like be forced like to sell things that you don't want to sell? That's the problem.
If I was a real estate lady, I'd be the one that was showing houses and got murdered in the house. So I don't do that.
Right? You'd be like, you can see her shadow on the wall right here. You want to buy it? Yes, you do. I know you do. It'll be worth money later. Take it.
Shit, there was somewhere I was going after that. But so Lynn in the chat room said, yeah, I know. ADD, not COPD. What is it? Were you chronically obsessed with
ADD?
stuff?
OCD.
OCD, yes. Not
OCD,
COPD.
obsessive compulsive.
That has to do with the lungs. Don't have it. Don't want it. But Lynn in the chat said, my spirit animal is a unicorn. I only see it after drinking heavily. Is it a unicorn or a rhino? Just wondering.
What are they called? They're called horny unicorns or something like that. I don't know. There's a word for like a rhinoceros unicorn. I don't know. I've seen it on shirts and silly things like that. I think like all of those mythical creatures, they exist. I have yet to see a unicorn. Oh, I'm lying. No, I did. I saw 2 unicorns, and it was in my dreams. But they were my donkeys, my mini donkeys. And they were little unicorns, and they were so beautiful. And so after that, like I had this dream where they were these beautiful unicorns. I've always called them my unicorns. It's so funny.
My cute little fuzzy unicorns. They are so cute. They're
also
also always
gay.
believed in unicorns. I know they existed. I think they were just too like hard-headed or whatnot to get on the ark. And, they weren't Pegasus. They were unicorns. So they ended up, just drowning in the Great Flood. And so we haven't had them since. But I did see a video on YouTube recently. And it was from far away. And I think it was an old video because it was, kind of grainy or whatnot. But you could clearly see a horn on this horse. And it was white. It wasn't all glimmery and sparkly or whatnot. But it was very pretty. And it looked like a unicorn. It wasn't a goat with one horn or whatnot. It looked like a damn unicorn.
I would love to see that, but you just totally reminded me, and my ADD is kicking in. I'm like, oh, but you reminded me. But this is really cool. So I found this video, and I added it. I'll see if I can send it somehow, if I can get internet access. But it was a person's security camera at night who they had a backyard, and it was a fenced in backyard, and right behind the backyard there was a pasture where their horse was, and it showed a person walking away from the pasture, and as soon as the person got like underneath the camera, it showed a ghost horse with a blazed face, clear as day, totally 100% a ghost horse. And the other real horse saw this and like walked towards it, and it literally like it's galloping like from the back of the pasture all the way up and kind of disappears right when it gets to that other living horse after that person turned its back. Like a legit, and it gives me chills just talking about it, because I've always wondered what horses do. And it's not like I'll probably see a horse's ghost in the house, you know, and you're not out in the pasture really at night, especially right now it's freezing. So I had a horse that died not too long ago, and I'm wondering, like, and so this person confirmed that this horse had died about a year ago and had a blazed face and looked just like that. And I've watched the video over and over and over. They caught a ghost horse on camera, and it's so cool. And the horse, you can tell the other horse was looking directly at it, like the living one was looking directly at it.
It's like, what the hell? Where'd you come from?
It was the cutest thing I've ever seen too, because it looked like he was just running to see his buddy. Like it was and waiting for the human to leave, which was the other weird part. Like the human wasn't supposed to be there. So crazy.
It was like it was his old buddy or something. Hey, I haven't seen you in a while. Where'd you go?
It was, according to the owner, it was his old buddy, like to a T. If I can find that video, I will send it to you. It is actually the cutest thing I've ever seen, really.
Yeah, I do believe in spirit animals, not just like our spirit animals, but animal ghosts. Like I had a black cat when I lived in Memphis. Yeah. There was a black cat that I'm standing by the little stove in it was 3 shacks put into one, so it was a house made out of 3 shacks. And I'm standing by the heater, and I go to step to my left to go and see what Kinsey needed, and I almost stepped on a black cat, and it went skittering off. We looked everywhere for it, couldn't find it. Saw it again in the kitchen. It ran and jumped over the couch that Kinsey was on, looked behind it, couldn't find it anywhere. That was my first ghost animal experience. Second one I saw was, I believe, a deer running across the road. And the first part of it looked like a deer, and I was like, oh shit. And I braced myself for the brakes and stuff that Vern would be doing. And then the last portion of it was like a streak, like a paintbrush streak of fawn-colored light across the road. And I'm like, did you just fucking see that? And he saw the same thing. And then for the last 3 months, my dog Gilly has been hanging out. She lived to be about 19 years old, and she's been hanging out recently. So I'm just like, it's cool to have her around. I've almost stepped on her a few times, and I've seen her go into other rooms, and I'm getting onto the dogs. You're not supposed to go in there. And there's none of them in there. It was Gilly. Really cool.
I'm sending the ghost horse video to you right now because it's just so cute. It's so cute. I don't know if you can pull it up or if it even went through properly, but if you ever get a chance, I sent it to your Skypes because I didn't know if I should put it on the paranormal or the after party or what, but I can send it again to the after party. It's so cute, the ghost horse.
Yeah, definitely do that because we'll be going there in a little over 4 minutes. But I had mentioned your music before and stuff like that. You were talking about doing a YouTube channel. I don't know if you ever did that. Is there a way that people can find you or your music or things you're doing online?
Yes. Actually, if people want to, I'm on Facebook, Mea Savage, Mea Savage. And then my music project is Antidote for Savages. It's on YouTube, Spotify, Reverb Nation, Instagram, and many others, iTunes, all of those good things. Actually, I'm on TikTok as well now because it's fun. So we need to make one for our paranormal group as well. I think that'd be really, really fun. I know Mel was trying to do that, or she was thinking about doing that. I know she's on there.
That would be super cool. That way we could do different short videos because they are short, and I know, like, just like anything else, for me, it was cell phones and then Facebook. Like, I didn't want to do these things, but was kind of forced into it by cell phones, my husband, Facebook, the casino that I worked for. We want you to go on the casino, invite other people to like us. I don't know anybody on Facebook at this point. Now I'm almost to, I think, 4,000, 5,000. I'm not sure. But, yeah, it's weird.
Yeah, I think I have to make a Facebook for my music, but I just feel like there's a lot of hatred on Facebook, if that makes sense. I feel like people are kind of rude on there. I think that might just be the animal groups that I'm in. Like, everyone has something to say, oh, you're not caring for your animals properly. Yeah. And it's, like, irritating. But I think music is a little bit impersonal, is different.
Yeah, I got that recently with a cat that looked like my cat, but it wasn't my cat. It was my cat's daughter that lived with somebody else up the road. But she's like, how could you be so negligent of your cat that you let it outdoors? I'm like, better than leaving it in the house all the time.
Cat.
Yeah. But
exactly.
We are
city people.
Like I said, we are at the end of our time. But thank you so much again, Mea, for hanging out with me and talking about different random stuff that's going on. I know we didn't touch on everything, but it's been a pleasure having you.
Yes, thank you. You made my weekend.
Yay! And I also want to thank everybody out there who's been listening tonight on We Are Paradox Media's Facebook, Spreaker, Twitter, Periscope, iHeartRadio, or wherever else in the Omniverse that you've been listening tonight. Man, I had a wonderful time. Can't say it enough. My second favorite time of the month. Gotta do it again, for sure. Because, like I said, we didn't hit on everything.
I know. We could go on for days.
I can't wait to do it again tomorrow night when I don't know what the hell's going on because I was dead all week. But you guys, don't forget, we're all in this together. Together we can make the world a little better. And together, my friends, we are Paradox Media because without you guys, there is no us. If you guys want to join us on the after party, feel free to give us a call, 970-335-9596. Make sure you guys come on out. Mondays, we got Coffee and a Chat with Sleepy Dave. Fridays, we got 1028 Live with Doc Skinner. I want to also thank our sponsors. We couldn't do it without you guys. We got Jim Morris, Mr. Kevin McDougall, Del Elson, Miss Mea Savage, as well as our musical host, Mr. Roy Washington of Quest Nation, as well as Prime Example. You guys, until next time, nighty night, love and light. Have a wonderful rest of your evening. See you back here, same time, and same place.